Hello, free ride fans. Welcome to the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series by Orage. We're excited to have you join us for the second of 3 Region 2 Challenger Series competitions. This one is officially the Kirkwood IFSA Challenger being restaged here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort above the town of Golden, BC. To start things off, we're going to do a nice land acknowledgement. Kicking Horse Mountain Resort is located on the unceded lands of the Secwepemc and the Ktunaxa people and is the chosen home of the Métis people of British Columbia. My name is Mark Warner, and I'm here with my co-host, Rachel Shannon.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rachel from the IFSA.
And we are here for the second of 3. Last week, we were in Whitewater, and the riders did not disappoint.
It was awesome. The conditions were pretty tough in Whitewater, but it was awesome to see everything they had to throw down. And today, things are looking pretty good here at Kicking Horse, if I do say so myself.
So today's venue is on T1 North, which is a classic free ride venue here at Kicking Horse. So Kicking Horse, let's give you a little bit of information about the place that we're going to be hosting this event on today. Did you know that this is the champagne powder capital of Canada?
You know, I've heard that, and it's pretty exciting to see. It's nice, and we got a nice top-up last night, so
all right.
Excited to see some soft conditions.
All right, well, we're glad to have you with us, folks. And in just a moment, we're going to have our first forerunner of the day, and you're going to get your first look at the venue, T1 North, here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort, just above the town of beautiful Golden, BC. All right, here is the first forerunner is on course. Martin Lentz, he's a ski patroller, and let's see what he can do. He's just behind our view on the ridge here. So as we go throughout the day, Rachel, we're going to give these fine folks a little bit of information about where these riders are going. We've got a map of the course right in front of us here. We're going to give you lots of information on Kicking Horse and the town of Golden itself, and also fill you in on the standings from the events we've had thus far.
Absolutely, Mark. And just to give everyone a little intro right now on what's happening with the forerunner. The forerunner is not a competitor in the series. The forerunner is just a person that skis the course and gives the judges a moment to establish their flow and talk about their scoring and make sure that they're all feeling unified before the proper athletes drop in.
Absolutely. And you know what? I've seen events where a lot of the riders weren't really happy with the conditions of the slope or the venue that they've been competing on or a whole variety of reasons to be unhappy. And then the forerunner drops and then it completely changes the mood. So the forerunners aren't just any random person. They're people that know the resort. They're potential competitors themselves or former competitors themselves, free ride or professional skiers also. So they definitely know what they're doing. And their goal is to basically get to the bottom and relay information on the radio back to the riders at the top. To give them all the information they have. Hey, the snow's a little crunchy here. It's a little soft here. When you air, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just more of a fact-finding mission for the riders who are about to drop in.
Absolutely. And yes, the forerunner is definitely a strong, stable skier. Again, a ski patrol here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort, which is not easy terrain. So certainly experienced and qualified to be on course. And the forerunner is encouraged to take a mellow line down. We don't want the forerunner hitting the biggest cliff, going super huge. So when they do drop the forerunner this morning, you will see them take a mellow line, and that is what is expected in their position.
Medium mellow.
Medium mellow.
Medium mellow.
Mellow for free ride, I should say.
It's not going to be my kind of mellow.
Exactly.
It's going to be their mellow.
Their mellow.
We got to put it into context.
Into perspective.
So for those of you who don't know what the Challenger Series is, the Challenger Series was introduced in 2022. And is the final obstacle for these freeride competitors to make it to the Freeride World Tour. Many of these riders have earned their way by collecting points through qualifier events, and some of the riders were actually on the FWT this season who didn't make the cut. So basically, it's like a 3-round playoff for everyone trying to make it to the FWT in 2027. And at the end of the series, the following move on from this region, which is, we'll explain the regions for you in just a moment, but from this region, which is the IFSA Americas, Region 2, 4 ski men, 2 ski women, 2 snowboard men, and 1 snowboard woman will be moving on to the final, or to the FWT next year. Now, you are a member of the IFSA, which is the governing board here in the Americas. Can you tell us a little bit about how that all works and what's involved in it?
Absolutely. The IFSA was founded in 1996 by Shane McConkey.
Oh, McConkey.
I know,
Yep.
and we are
Is there anything that guy didn't do?
Honestly. And we are a nonprofit, the governing body of freeride in North and South America. We run from Alaska to Patagonia, and we are so proud to have over 180 events between those mountain regions in the Americas. And we've come a long way, and we're so excited to send our athletes to the next step and really appreciate how far they've come in this series. Making it to Challengers is a huge accomplishment. And you can see right now that we have our forerunner dropping into the course. Again, Noah for freeride, but look at those turns. He's fast, he's furious, looking so smooth on the course, really setting the tone for the day.
Yes, well, so we've got a little bit of fresh snow last night. As you can see him arcing turns down this couloir here, which is called the Dare couloir. The left Dare couloir, just getting a little bit of fresh pow. And like the sun is just kind of cresting that peak, and that looked absolutely fantastic. We've got about, I think they said there's 8 centimeters of fresh, which, if I'm not mistaken, is just shy of 3 inches for our American friends watching here on freeskier.com. And it fell down straight. It's fluffy. It's light. Like I said, Champagne powder, capital of Canada. You and I were debating whether we wanted to consider going for an extra lap before we sat down and did this, but we didn't want to miss the show. It is primed to be an absolutely fantastic day. So can you explain, let's get back into the Challengers, or I guess the qualifier series. So can you kind of talk a little bit about the pyramid through the IFSA?
Yeah, absolutely. So our qualifier events are determined by their star level, 1 star being entry level, timestamp only, anyone can join. We want people to come experience freeride.
What does timestamp only mean?
Timestamp only means how fast you register. So you don't need seed or prior points to get into these 1 star level events.
You just need to get in when the registration opens.
You just got it. Yep, click the button quickly. And then you build points through your results in those star levels. So starting at 1 star, 2 star, you could build a few more points, 3 star, and all the way on to 4 star. Those higher level star events gain athletes more points to qualify for the Challenger Series.
Okay.
And so making it all the way to the Challenger Series is a huge accomplishment. These athletes have worked so hard to get here, and they are athletes through and through. The stuff they are going to do on this course today is truly going to be amazing. It's going to be a great show.
Okay, so that's how they got here. So now that they're on this face, we've got an interesting judging, scenario today. Are you able to explain that for me? How is it set up?
Absolutely. So we run something here called a dual panel. So panel A will have 3 sets of judges. And then additionally, in panel A, there's next to panel A, a panel B, which has a separate 3 set of judges. And they are going to drop back to back. So we'll have a panel A athlete, which will start with our snowboard women. And then a panel B athlete will drop our snowboard men. And this exists so that way we can rapid fire athletes down the venue. It creates for a more engaging production. There's always action happening on the screen. And additionally, it gives the judges a couple more minutes to really sit and think through the math without feeling the pressure to go as fast as they can. So it gives the judges a minute to judge. It provides, the athletes the addition to keep rolling throughout the day, which is really exciting.
And it makes it go a lot faster.
Exactly.
Because we all know that free ride competitions, when you have 80 competitors like we have today, it can be a long day, especially when the athletes are standing up on the ridge or all of the staff and crew are in the comms tent and it's like minus 20, minus 13. It's a little chilly today, but it's not the worst.
We've been in colder.
We're in the sunshine. It's manageable. So it's nice to be able to move these competitions on quickly. And of course, for you, the viewing public, so you can get a big full comp in a few hours rather than having to, commit your full entire day to it. But I have no problem spending the day with you, Rachel.
We could talk about free ride all day.
Right on. So let's talk about the order. The order of I guess the drop order today. We're going to be starting with snowboard women, then snowboard men, and then we also have next is going to be the ski women, followed by ski men. Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So panel A is going to start with snowboard women, and then once the snowboard women are done, panel A will jump into ski men. And on panel B, it will start with snowboard men, and then once all the snowboard men have finished, panel B will then start judging ski women. And again, this back and forth that you'll see are two separate sets of judges judging the athlete. So the men and women are not competing against each other, but rather dropping one after another to, again, create that faster flow.
Fair enough. All right, so then let's talk about, so we're going to start off with the first rider of the day is Emma Hall. Emma Hall actually finished second on the podium for snowboard women last week. So we're going to start snowboard women, snowboard men, snowboard women, snowboard men, back and forth until we hit the next two categories. So why don't we kind of get back into this beautiful town of Golden and Kicking Horse, Champagne Powder, capital of Canada. Also boasts some of the most chute skiing in Canada. Now, this is the first time you've been up Kicking Horse today on the gondola. What were some of your first impressions?
This is my first time at Kicking Horse, and we got to load the gondola up early. And my goodness, as soon as we reached the top, and you can just see all the peaks when you get to the top, it's gorgeous. It is so stunning. We can look out at town from where we're sitting right now, and we have the snow peaks in the background, and it is just truly a gorgeous landscape up here.
Yeah, here in the Dogtooth, it's kind of the little minor range that basically when you drive into town, the highway, the Trans-Canada Highway runs parallel to the Dogtooth range, and you can see the whole range, and then you can just pick out Kicking Horse and the ski runs as you're approaching town. And I will tell you, some of the best sunrises I have ever seen in my life. The Kicking Horse is no stranger to freeride events, dating all the way back to the rowdy days of Wrangle the Chute. And to be honest with you, the majority of the riders here today have attended a 2-star or a 4-star or a 3-star or some sort of a qualifying star event here in Golden, whether it's on T1 North, which we're looking. T1 South is a really, really highly used, popular venue on the backside of the ridge that we're going to be watching today. And then, of course, the Ozone Face, which is basically the number one primary face for the Freeride World Tour, which conducted events here for 8 years between 2018 and 2025.
So yeah, a lot of history that goes into Kicking Horse. It's been really exciting to see the evolution. Again, going back to Wrangle the Chutes in the early 2010s to where we are now with this competition. They've done a lot for freeride, and we're really excited to be a part of it today.
Absolutely. And we're tucked in here right on the ridge. We are ready to roll. I think the riders are frothing. And I think we're going to get word that we'll be dropping soon. Oh, looks like Emma Hall is almost ready to roll. So we're going to be kind of filling you in on some of the results from the Whitewater competition, the first of the Challenger Series. Snowboard women. Oh, here we go, dropping in. Emma Hall.
And Emma's coming to you from Schweitzer in Idaho. And she has one of my favorite styles in snowboarding. Coming in with a nice strong air off the top, controlling those turns right through the chute.
She's working her way across. Here we go, working her way down the dare chute, left dare chute. It's right for us, left for them. Nice big curve as she works her way across the slope, making nice, easy, comfortable turns. Lining something up here. She got a little bit of air that she's looking for. Taking a moment to have a look. Boom, drops it. Good control onto her heel edge. And as she rips out the bottom through the pow.
And just like that, what a fast run. I feel like we're going to see a lot of rapid fire today. The venue is steep, it is fast, and the snow conditions look pretty good if I do say so myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was chatting with someone today, and they said that not only did they get some snow last night, but the wind also came in and buffed it out a little bit. So we have some double action going on, providing for some really strong conditions for these riders today.
A little snow buff surface as she cruises into the finish corral. I think next up we've got Aaron Smiley from the U.S. of A. Breckenridge, and he got a part. He was a part of the Taos Freeride Comp the first year they allowed snowboarding. So good for you, Taos, for letting the other half play with us as well. Actually, they're the cooler half, to be completely honest with you. I'm a skier, and everything that we do that's cool, we probably took from snowboarders. They'll tell you, and you know what? A lot of us will tell you as well. Here we are. So next up, we've got Aaron Smiley. So we've got our first snowboard woman down, Emma Hall, who is sitting currently in second place overall in the snowboard woman category with a 2,900 score. And here we got Aaron Smiley, snowboard men, working his way down the ridge.
Going to catch some nice air off the top here as well, it looks like. Dropping in and controlling that speed up there in that steep chute.
It looks like that steep, the snow in that chute, it's a little choppier than we may have thought. With a nice little air, nice control on his board. Coming into this next little feature here. And he's going to have a nice little pop. And he's going to, oh, looks like he's just testing out the snow, making sure he's in the right spot. Oh, and a little bit of a punch front. Little bit of a control issue there.
But back on his feet and cruising, and our riders today are being scored on their line, their control, technique, fluidity, and style. So every feature that the athletes hit builds towards their line score, which the other 4 execution categories are based off of. And unfortunately, little losses of control like that will come out of their control score, but Aaron looks like he's navigating his way through the terrain. And the snow just looks so soft and fun today.
Lining up a little cliff down at the bottom here. Boom, right to his feet. It looks like the snow underneath might be a little harder than we initially thought. That little bit of dusting on top might be a little deceiving. You can see him put his hands up in the air. Maybe not exactly the run that he wanted, but down safe and sound. And now we have 2 categories on the way and under our belts.
1 from each panel. How exciting. Kicking off the competition nice and strong. And I agree, Mark. It looks like maybe, the snow underneath is a little bit firmer, but I also think, we said some wind buff, a little bit of dust on crust. And I also wonder how the conditions are changing from the top of the venue to the bottom. That's very common that we see, the top is a little bit lighter and fluffier, and as you get a little lower in elevation, that it can firm up or be a little stiffer, a little bit crustier. So we'll have to see, how the athletes were feeling after this one. That was something that was noted at Whitewater, was the conditions from the top to the bottom changed rather significantly, not only from the top to the bottom, but also throughout the day.
And to your point, the inverse could be true as well. It could be wind scoured near the top of the ridge, and then maybe a little bit more filled in down at the bottom, where they could potentially have, a ski get grabbed, or maybe ski gets sunk in and there's a little crust that will take it and pull it off, sort of thing.
Exactly. And on course right now, we have Willow Newton from Palisades Tahoe. She's coming to you from the Palisades Snowboard Freeride team.
All right. I think she's just behind the ridge there. Oh, here she comes. Popping into our view here, cruising down the ridge. Looks like she's going into the right dare chute. And she lining something up at the top here. Yes, absolutely. Right onto her feet. So as you can see, this little zone is a little bit chopped up. It was open to the public here, so the riders definitely have to do their best. And the thing about that is everybody has the same conditions to ride against. So, it is what it is, and this really sets the best apart from the rest. She's working her way through this lower chute, cutting back across a little bit more fresh terrain. It's a little bit of a spine here.
Yeah, it looks like she might be lining something up on this incoming feature here below her. Grabbing a little bit of air there. Love to see it, Willow. Nice and controlled. Heading into the trees over here. I wonder what she's going to grab.
Oh, a fresh little bowl. This little couloir here, it's got some fresh snow in it. And she's traversing quite high up on the toe edge. I wonder if she's going to pop off. Is that what the plan is, to pop off these rocks at the end? If she can keep it up. It looks like she wanted to stay a little higher. Oh, perfect. Nice move. Willow Newton.
Really smooth.
Very, very smooth. Very in control.
Coming into one more, it looks like, for her at the bottom of the venue here.
Boom. Same spot we just saw Aaron Smiley go. Doubled up on it, and both of them successful on that last little hit as she rolls into the finish corral. All right, we are on our way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching us on freeskier.com, Want to give a little shout out to some of our sponsors of IFSA, as well as the live stream, Helly Hansen, as well as Head Tyrolia.
3M Thinsley and 3M Scotchgard, as well as POC and Giro. We could not do it without these brands, so huge shout out to all of them.
Absolutely, and we've got additional support from BCA, GoPro, Flylo, Nordica, Marker Dobello, Volcal, as well as Reflex, Strave, K2, Blizzard Technica, Daymaker, and David Bars. We have our next rider on course. Kaboom! Ripping down the chute here, right through the sun, getting some good photos. This is the highest speed we've seen today.
Absolutely. Brian Sanderson making it look easy, grabbing that air that was so clean and so controlled, and really ripping those turns with some speed as he comes into this next one. Looks like he might bite off a pretty big chunk here. Let's see what he has. Nice. Oh, wow. Linking that so fluidly.
Nice little straight line over the shelf. Brian Sanderson, a former FWT athlete, wants to find his way back onto the tour as he's hitting this final feature here with the big 360 and gets onto his feet. Great control on the ride out as he comes in right to the finish corral. So the first big trick we've seen today, and I'd say that is the highest speed that we've seen from all the riders this far, all four of them. So here we go.
Absolutely, and that speed is going to contribute to that fluidity category that the athletes are being judged in. So while they're not being timed and their time is not part of their score, if they are skiing it fast with that power and that fluidity behind it, that will increase that score.
Absolutely. And, you know, he knows what he's doing. He made it to the tour through the challengers. And then got dropped off, and he's trying to get his way through. So he's learned a lot, not only being on the tour, but going through all of the qualifying tours, being on the challenger. And all of these riders, so last night we had the riders meeting, and the judges were talking to the riders saying, hey, we're always looking for judges from ex-riders or ex-coaches just to build up the knowledge and just have a bigger pool to work from. And a lot of the riders had said, specifically Tyler Curl, who's riding today, has done some judging in the past, is they learn more about their riding when they learn and understand more about how the judging works.
Absolutely. And next on course, we have another snowboard woman, Marissa Krawczak. Originally from Michigan, but currently riding at Revelstoke.
And she is our event wildcard today. You may have seen her riding in the recent R&D series over on Revelstoke. And she is coming down this ridge in the sunlight here. You can see it's a little bit windy flowing up the face. Heading into this left dare chute, making her turns down. Here we go.
Marissa catching some smooth turns here. It's fun to see the snow flying underneath their snowboards. It's making it feel soft and looks like it is fun out there. Marissa lining something else up, catching some air.
Going way riders left into a brand new zone we haven't seen yet. Getting some pow turns. As I said last week, and I always say on the free ride guide, I absolutely love it when a rider takes that little extra turn and smashes the pow turn and gets themselves white roomed or get a little face shot. It's satisfying to the soul.
And it feels like they're doing it with intention, too. They're doing it because they want that extra turn. They want it to be fun. It's not just all about the competition. It's the soul behind it as well.
Absolutely. All right, Melissa Krawczak is at the bottom. And we are rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we have Brian Bozak with Snowboard Men out of the US&A.
Coming to you from Sugar Bowl, California. He was third at the Kirkwood Qualifier 4-star this year. So no stranger to big mountain riding, no stranger to the podium. I'm really excited to see what Brian has in store for us today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The sun is out. We got some puffy white clouds. We can see the entire range here. So Kicking Horse is actually kind of right in the middle of the Purcell and Rocky Mountain ranges. Kicking Horse has more than 1,416 hectares, which is about 3,500 acres of skiable terrain. And at 4,314 feet, or 1,315 meters, vertical, it's the fourth highest vertical drop for a ski resort in North America.
That's pretty exciting. They definitely have the freeride terrain. They list that about 45% of their terrain is in that advanced category. So really a mountain to showcase some steeps, some chutes, some big cliffs, and it's exciting to see all the different options they have for venues as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're a charging skier, this is the place for you. It is absolutely fantastic. All right, we have our next rider dropping, Brian Bozak.
Excuse me, this is going to be Katie Anderson. Oh, no, Brian. I'm so sorry. Brian Bozak is dropping in and staying nice and strong in the steeps. Off to a great start here. Cruising through the soft snow. It's flying up behind him. And he's going to line something up for us here.
So right down this ridge, which is kind of right on the edge of the lingering fingers, is what we're looking at right here. Cruising into this truth chute. Underneath Lesser's Leap. So we're learning about all these zones and hoping we're getting the names right here for you folks. For those of you in kicking horse, oh wow, look at that big turn. So he's coming through with a little bit of heat, a little bit more fluidity as he comes into this middle buttress. And a nice little drop. From our vantage point, I would assume more people are going to be taking it a little bit bigger, but there must be something to the approach that's causing them to slow down and drip off the front rather than air off the front.
Absolutely. I think it's, like you said, we can't quite see exactly what the athletes are seeing from their perspective. So them being a little cautious. Oh, and him coming in with another strong air there from Brian, just straight to bolt. He's got his arms out. He was cruising, feeling really balanced. Really solid riding out of Brian.
And tries to get a little bonus feature at the end there. I hope that the judging is finished by the time that happened.
Exciting. And last competition we started with our skiers, so it's fun to let the snowboarders kind of kick off the event today, see how they're going to lay down the lines. They've got a little bit more of that cruisier style, which is always fun to watch. Always reminds me of surfing a little bit, a little more, I don't want to say laid back, but that little more fluid and cruisy and groovy style.
All right, so dropping in now, we have our current rider in the top spot, Katie Anderson, coming in, charging through these top turns. Katie is a former freeride World Tour champion and is now working her way back. She left the tour because of injury, and now she's working through the challenge to make her way back. She won last week in Whitewater, and she is ready to do it again here today. Coming out of the gate really aggressive and moving into a whole new zone that we haven't seen anybody cruise over. You can see how steep it is. Little bit of an issue right there, but working her way over to this next feature and see if she can hit the air off the side. Absolutely perfect. And she smashes some pow turns on the way out of here.
Oh, fun. Katie's coming to you from Fernie Alpine Resort, and she said outside of free riding, she's been getting
she got caught up in a little debris there.
Oh, bummer. Yeah, you can see those chunks at the bottom.
There's a little bit of snow debris over there on the skier's left. Our looker's right that she ended up getting caught into. I just saw the aftermath of it. So we'll see how that plays out in her score at the end of the day. Because as of this point, I think that was the most aggressive snowboard woman rider thus far.
Yeah, she came in so strong and so powerful. It's really steep up there, and she just had such beautiful control and fluidity as she really laid into those turns at the top.
And she puts her arms up like, what was that? Just got caught by something underneath.
And yeah, that's, a bit of the nature of freeride is it is an uncontrolled environment. There's no groomers out there. They're really just giving a face and saying, do what you can with it and just show it off and make it creative. So fun to see each unique twist that all the athletes have, where their brain picks out their line and how they're going to piece it together and really create their story down the mountain.
Okay, so we are 7 riders in. Next up is Tavo Sadeg from the US of A. He is a real nice human being to be around. Always got a smile on his face. Always looks like he's having a good time. And look, he is on course, and I'm sure he's going to be having a good time. The nice air right in the middle of the chute. Working his way down to this little cliff band here. It looks from our view, it looks like they can get right onto it, but from that angle, it looks like they're going to have to go around it rather than up and over, as he's actually linking some really quick turns down here through the center, right through this little spine zone between the two dare chutes. A little air off the side as he works into this little more chopped up zone, as you can see.
Absolutely. He's got 3 features under his belt. Ooh, oh, unfortunately not quite holding on to the spin, but he is back up and moving. But that will be a control deduction from his
See
score.
if he tries
on that
it
one.
again. Second time is money from Tavo with a big pow slash as he works his way down to the bottom. So way to redeem himself there. That was a quick move. You know, that's the thing about freeride. You have to have a short memory.
Exactly. It really is just so quick, and while the athletes do plan their line, there is a lot of reacting that has to happen on their feet too. The athletes are not allowed to practice their line beforehand, so they really just have to go in and they're hitting these features for the first time essentially, which can definitely create some hiccups along the way or things that they were not expecting.
You can see a little proof of that pow slash and Tavo's mustache there, which is absolutely wonderful. Little pow stash is one of my favorite things of all time.
Proof of some good snow too, if I do say.
Absolutely. Next up, we have a Chilean rider. As we said, Region 2. IFSA is the governing board for Region 2, which includes all of the Americas, North and South. And in the last few years, we've actually seen a real emergence of these Chilean and Argentinian freeriders.
Absolutely, and Isadora Aguirre is coming to us from Chile. So Alaska to Patagonia, coming to you out of the Andes Mountains in Chile. She's super sweet. I've gotten to chat with her a bit this trip, and she's just really excited to be here and really excited to show off what she's been working so hard on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isadora getting ready to drop in. We can see her up top. We see our patrollers up there, keeping everyone safe. There takes a lot of coordination with the team here at Kicking Horse, their patrol and their general safety team, to make sure that all the athletes are feeling taken care of and strong and that they're able to make safe, good decisions in their riding. So huge shout out to the Kicking Horse team. They've been so helpful and so really pleasant to work with and really excited to help us put on this show today. And I got a nice view of the venue here as well from that top angle, and it looks pretty steep up there, I must say. It is certainly not easy terrain to ride in. Looks like she's taken some deep breaths. You know, all these athletes definitely have their own take on what they can do to mentally prep. It's such a physical, demanding sport, but there's a lot of mental preparation that goes into it as well. It's not just, get up there and perform your best. It's make sure that your mind is ready to allow yourself to do the best and allow yourself to trust your body and your skiing and what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, faith is a word that I'm not a huge religious person, but I believe in the word faith. Because, like, when you're ripping down a slope, you have faith that there's nothing going to be there's not going to be a shark that's going to rip your ski off. I have faith that the landing is going to be exactly what I hope it's going to be. I have faith that I'm going to basically perform to my best abilities. And that's kind of what a lot of these riders have to do. As we have Isadora on her heel edge, cruising down the ridge here, about to hit her first little feature. Nice little turn around that little ridge as she works her way into the chute just below Lesser's Leap.
Our truth chute is what this one's called here, as we can see Isadora making a nice turn there and lining up for her next feature, hopefully. Let's see where she's headed. Cruising some smooth turns here.
Just very careful, very deliberate turns, making sure she stays on. A little bit of difficulty there on that heel side edge. And this is a classic Kicking Horse chute. Kicking Horse has, I think, 4 unique ridges with chutes on either side. It's really like a full-on shooting gallery. If you like skiing steeps and you like this gnarly fun terrain, this is definitely the place for you. And the rider's going to be putting on a show for us today as she works into this little tree zone with some really nice fresh snow. As she's able to open it up a little bit more, feel a little more confident on her board here.
Isadora making her way to the bottom. She's got the hardest part of the venue behind her, so it looks like she is just going to cruise all the way in, and a nice successful ride out of Isadora. Oh, a little caught up there right before the bottom, and the judges are watching all the way to the end. So it is, while it feels like you're in the home stretch and you're done, it's so important that they hang tight all the way up to the finish corral.
So I wonder if Brian will get judged on that funky little nub that he hit right in front of the finish corral. I hope not, because I think he was just kind of a playful thing I'm at the bottom, but he wasn't through the gate, so that is something that we're going to have to find out about. And I found out how many chutes that Kicking Horse has. 85.
85.
120 runs, 5 alpine bowls, 85 chutes, all accessed by 5 separate lists. Oh, Johnny Duty airing into the top here. Coming right at it on a nice aggressive line, right along the spine. Looks like he's going to drop into this little section above. Oh, looks like he had a little, was it 180? I couldn't quite see. I was watching him in the sun there. Little move off the ridge, coming in, another little air, and of course, as you mentioned before, the more features you get, the higher your line score is going to be.
And Johnny's sitting in 5th right now, so he's really hungry to build up these points as he comes up to this feature here, grab some nice air out of it, and yeah, taking a bit like a straight line and just really diving in through that section.
Laced his way through that really, really nicely. Really great board control. As he's coming into this lower air.
Clean. Looks like he had a little shifty thrown in there too. He tweaked it out a little bit of style there.
We don't have a name for that lower air yet. I think we should call it the town bike.
The town bike?
It seems like everyone's going to jump on and get a ride.
I like it. The town bike
the
feature
little town
at the
bike
bottom.
air.
Johnny made it look so smooth, so easy. Took it for a ride. We love to see it.
All right, or maybe we call it like the lime scooter, the lime scooter cliff.
I like that, the lime scooter cliff. And Johnny's coming to you from Montana State University, originally from Steamboat Springs, so Colorado into Montana. He loves everything about the freeride community, which is something we love to see, is that freeride family, all the athletes supporting each other, encouraging each other, because while it is a competition, it's so beautiful to see the camaraderie over this really extreme, difficult thing that they're all doing and sharing the experience of.
Absolutely. Free ride is fun. Audrey Hebert, another former FWT rider. She made her way through the Challengers in 2024 and was on the FWT in 2025. And she's competed here many, many times as well. She is riding out of Banff, Lake Louise.
And it says outside of freeride, she runs a petting zoo. That is something I did not know from Audrey, but what an exciting fun fact. I wonder what type of animal she has there. What type of petting zoo?
I don't know.
Well,
my favorite type of petting zoo is one that's just full of puppies, to be honest. Or those little goats that fall over when they get scared. They just they get stiff and fall over. Because I find those hilarious.
We'll have to ask Audrey what type of pet she has at her zoo. But it looks like she's getting ready. I'm sure she's thinking about her line right now. And Audrey dropping in.
All right, right along the ridge, no stranger to free ride. And she's coming off a little bit farther riders left above the exposure. She's lining up a fun little cliff here. Really, really high consequence as she rides right through that beautiful sunlight. That's the only spot on the venue that we've got sun right now here on T1 North.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how those shadows change throughout the day. Coming up and over, lining up another air here.
Working her way back across the slope, I think just looking for features. That top zone, I think, is the most exposed, I guess, most high consequence zone we've seen any of the snowboard women drop in thus far. And she works her way through, pendulums her way through this little tight zone, heading into this bottom little cliff. Let's see what she's got lined up for us here.
Oh, clean.
Clean. I think Audrey's currently sitting in 6th or 7th place. Wasn't terribly happy with the top of her run, and at the bottom last week decided to hit a big 360 off of some like cornice debris or natural slough debris.
I remember that. So showing off that she's got the tricks, freeride really is this beautiful blend of strong technique and powerful riding, but also that freestyle element. They want to see the spins and the flips and the grabs and the shifties, so really exciting to see that blend, and Audrey knows how to show that off.
And every single one of those moves is a score increase.
Exactly. And those also contribute to the overall rider level. And the rider level is this overall impression that's determined at the end of their run. And that gives the judges a numerical value of how high above their line score they can go for the other four execution categories. Getting big hugs at the bottom. Oh, we love to see the riders supporting each other. It's really exciting to see when they come down and just feel the love and the support.
Looks like I got a little sunscreen on my nose there. So all of you folks that are watching at home, make sure to put your sunscreen on, because we're getting to that time of year where you can get burned. You need to be safe, my friends.
Yeah, and the sun has been strong here this morning. Our next athlete is dropping in, Devin Miller. Devin's coming to you from Ski Morin Heights.
In Canada.
In Canada.
Morin Heights, the Laurentians, from Quebec. The French colonies. Well, not French colonies. It's an actual province, one of the founding provinces of Canada here. French Canada. As he's slashing some turns down through the center zone with a nice pace. And this definitely counts as two. This venue is much, much, much shorter than the venue under Waimea Peak, which we had as a little pop-off there, than we had in Whitewater last week. It's about half the size, maybe a third of the size.
Absolutely, and we talked about how the riders had that traverse on the last venue to take a deep breath and reset for the second half of their course, but on this one it really just looks go, go, go from the top to the bottom, and we see that in Devin right now as he's riding and just keeping it fluid, and he's on all the time on this run, top to bottom.
Right above the lime scooter cliff. Definitely stomped it there. We haven't really seen any, it's kind of a funky little, like, I guess, double fall line takeoff. So we haven't really seen any tricks off of there yet.
Except for Tavo.
Right, but he kind of went
But
off.
you're right, he did take the other side of the lime scooter.
Yeah.
He was more on the handlebar side of our
Yeah,
lime
so that's
scooter
the town
versus
bike.
our wheels.
Yeah, so right off the right might be the town bike, and the left side might be lime scooter.
I like it.
Trying to figure it out, my friends. I wonder if they're going to call it that, but I haven't seen any lime scooters in the town of Golden. I don't know if it's quite big enough for like small commuter vehicles. Just interspersed around the streets.
Awesome. So awesome riding out of Devin there. And then we will go back to panel B for our next rider, our snowboard woman. Our next rider is going to be Megan Gard. Megan's coming to you from Pacific Palisades, Mammoth Mountain, and just an absolute gem. I love getting to chat with Megan. She's so sweet, really strong rider. And I believe she was sitting in 4th place from our last event. So here comes Megan getting ready to show it off here at Kicking Horse.
And on this 3-event series, the top 2 count towards your overall score. So you basically get 1 throwaway. So best 2 out of 3 here. So she's already got started off on the right foot.
And Megan looks like she's going to line something up here on this top feature.
As you can see, it's quite steep where she is. Working her way through that little technical zone. Just cruising underneath the Lesser's Leap as we speak.
Coming in nice and smooth. Looks like she's going to line another.
You can really see how steep it is on the camera here. We're watching this kind of in between between the live stream that you folks are watching from home on freeskier.com, as well as right in front of us live in person. And it looks a lot steeper on the camera than it does in person. With a nice air right off the corner there. Well done. Going to slosh some pow on her way out to the bottom. Watch out for that debris, which we saw Katie Anderson get caught up on.
I know, it really isn't over until they get to the finish corral, and it feels that way there.
So sorry to interrupt you. It looks like, so most of the riders that have gone that far left side have just rode out to the bottom. She just traversed all the way back to get this extra lime scooter town bike cliff here, the TB cliff.
Really strategic move from Megan as she lines it up here on our Lime scooter. Taking it to her feet.
So that was really, really smart riding. So she went way far riders left, which a few riders have, and a lot of them have come down and ridden out through the bottom back to the corral. She just fully went hard edge, cut straight across the slope, so she could get that extra feature. So that is definitely going to show in her overall score.
Absolutely, and that's what we call traversing with a purpose. We want to see the athletes, if they're going to traverse, do it for a reason. If they're going to put a big traverse in and then not really do much on that side of the venue, that will have a negative impact on their fluidity score. But Megan did the opposite. She took that large traverse so that way she could go and continue to build her line score.
Smart riding. Absolutely really smart riding from Megan.
And our next athlete, we're going to jump back to Panel A, snowboard men. We have Holden Samuels.
Holden Samuels missed the cut on the FWT this year, and he is gunning to make his way back. He won the whitewater event in Nelson last week, and watching him ride aggressively through this top zone, you can tell he wants to get back. Quite high amplitude here as he cruises into this next cliff. Right off the side, goes for the grab.
Beautiful, and those grabs will show up in that style category and really arcing some turns, showing off a high rider level here. Holden grabbing another bite of air off that mid feature.
And staying strong on his board through that really choppy outrun.
Fast traversing, and then throwing some nice turns in there, lining up this other cliff.
This is that cliff this is only the second time we saw that cliff. I think it was
Willow, I believe, came over to that side.
Traverse. Holden. Nice big pop right off where Tavo did that spin. Big air there. I'd say he's going to be really happy with this. Really, really consistent, smooth riding. High amplitude, a couple big airs there, a couple grabs. I think he's going to be happy with that.
And fast. That felt like a blink and you'll miss it run. Really top to the bottom, maintaining good, strong, consistent speed all the way down. Holden's coming to you from Salt Lake City. He rides out of Snowbird and grew up on the Big Sky freeride team. All the athletes at the bottom that I'm sure are very relieved to get through their run and can really just enjoy the show for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. So as the day warms up here, behind the T1 face there, you can actually see that big convective cloud kind of growing a little bit right behind us. So at some point, it may get to a point where it obscures the sun. We'll see what happens. But like I said, we're on the north side here, so it's mostly in the shade anyway, so it shouldn't really affect the venue face.
Our next athlete is our event wild card, Carling Strayer.
Yes, Carling Strayer, and she came and introduced herself to us this morning. And she's like, I got some information for you. So Carling Strayer, her nickname is Hot Carl. And one of her sponsors is Panorama Resort, which is where she rides. And we asked her how she got into free ride, and she just wrote, through my ex, smiley face. So I hope he's watching right now, because she is currently a wild card on the IFSA FWT Challenger Series here in 2026.
And she had a really strong result at the Snowbird Qualifier 4-star this year. She was second place.
Oh, that's decent.
Absolutely, and Snowbird also really steep, powerful venue, so to be able to put down a podium run on something like that is certainly an accomplishment, and I'm really excited to see what Carling's going to do for us on this run here at Kicking Horse.
Absolutely. Carling also wants to give a shout-out to her job. Thanks, work, for giving me time off. She works at Chatter Creek, which is really, really cool.
Some well-deserved time off indeed. She's putting it to good use, and she is dropping in.
All right, so she's cruising a little bit farther into this truth chute. Coming down the bowl here, coming through the chute, arcing some turns. A lot of riders are quite hesitant through the chute there, so it must be the snow conditions might be quite difficult.
I'm sure.
Boom,
catching some good air there, and I think you're right, Mark. It may be deceiving on the camera. It looks soft and smooth, but that's not always the story in freeride. The looks can be very deceiving for what's actually happening, not only on the surface, but underneath. So, always an accomplishment to see the riders make it look so smooth and so easy.
Okay, as she's working her way over into this little
exposed section. You can see she's uncovering quite a bit of rock there as well.
Definitely looks like it'll get
something the riders after her today are going to have to navigate. So we're about 15 riders in. So we've got about what's that? 65 left to roll.
And looks like she's lining herself up there so she can take it to her feet.
Fall line, good control on her way out of there. And it looks like she's kind of cutting back here as well, slashing some turns. And she just passed the traverse line where we saw Megan Gard cut back towards the lower transportation cliff, as we mentioned. I think she just saw it and was kind of maybe working her way there, but she's a little bit too low right now. So now it's just some soul turns on her way down to the finish corral.
Absolutely. Really fun riding out of Carling. Making her way all the way to the bottom. And that's it. Arms in the air. Carling is stoked. Getting the hugs from the friends. We love to see it. I'm sure it's a huge sigh of relief to get to the bottom. And what an accomplishment to make it top to bottom on this face here at Kicking Horse. Really strong riding out of our snowboarders so far. Carling was our 15th athlete to drop, and we will be moving back to panel B to our snowboard women. Excuse me, our snowboard men. Tilden Woolley will be our next athlete, and Tilden is dropping in right now. Here we go. Coming out of the gate fast and strong.
Tilden Woolley, former FWT rider as well. He made his way through the challengers himself also. Oh, hold on. Getting a little rowdy. Oh, getting a little bit too fast for control there. The chute isn't as smooth as you want, so it looks like you just got caught up on an edge and just got bucked around a little bit. But, you know, give him full credit. This is one of the fastest runs that we've seen today. Throwing the big 360 into the chute. Great, perfect landing. As you can see, it is not smooth in there, so his board handling control skills have definitely improved since that first little bobble.
Absolutely, and he is just has such speed coming in behind his run right now, too. Looking really balanced and really controlled as he makes his way with another 360 straight to his feet, and he is going to cook it into the corral.
I think it's the fastest run of the day.
That was speedy for sure, and really encompassed a lot. He had the airs, he had the spins, and he had the speed behind all of it.
All right, Tilden Woolley getting hugs down at the bottom. Next up, we've got Jamie Figuera from Canada.
You know, she said this morning that's how you pronounce her name. She goes, think Mamma Mia, but Figuera. And I thought that was
imagine us holding my finger.
Exactly,
yeah,
we got that.
Jamie Figuera. All right. She is next to drop in.
Coming to you from Banff Sunshine Village, the Canadian rider.
Oh, just over the pass. Not too far away from here. So this is kind of like a home event for her almost. Even though this is the Kirkwood restage, we're doing it here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. Number 96 in your program, Jamie Figuera.
And here she comes, starting off with a little hop around that feature right there.
Nice little top air. Like I said, this is a really, really steep zone and above very big exposure. So this is definitely going to be, in my opinion, I think it should be having a little higher line score. Would that be incorrect to say?
Absolutely. That's something the judges are taking into consideration is the consequence behind each feature as well. It's not just how big it is, but where it is, what the snow conditions are like, what's below it. So all these things are being factored when the judges scale each feature for the line score.
Okay, here she is getting set up for another little air. Really solid run thus far. Picking up a little bit of pace is Jamie, linking these turns on her way down through the center chute here. Heading into this next little section. What has she got for this little middle air? She's actually sneaking down through the side. Looks like she may have got a little stuck behind the tree, or she's just finding her line. As you said, the pause sometimes is part of the run.
Exactly, and while that pause will have an impact on the fluidity score, it is better to take that second to line yourself up because
Boom.
nice. Because you really want to make sure that you're landing. That is the most important thing, is clean and controlled riding. So sometimes it just takes that minute to adjust to really make sure that you're planning exactly what you want to do.
As she cruises into the finish corral, you can see in the background of that shot there how beautiful this day is today. The reason why it's so dark over here is the T1 north face, full on north facing. It's going to keep cold. The snow is going to stay a lot more fresh throughout the season. Not going to get baked by the sun, because it's end of March right now. So the sun's rays are a little bit stronger. They're going to be a little warmer. So even when it's like -10, you can still get that snow melt, and then the melt freeze. Which
Absolutely.
we've actually gotten on a few other faces, south-facing faces here at Kicking Horse, where a little bit of a crust has appeared overnight during the melt freeze.
And one of the cooler days we've seen so far since we started our Challenger series. Definitely a little chillier this morning, but it is good to see the sun and see some nice, solid riding and good conditions so far this morning.
Isaac Singer is up next, riding out of the USA.
Coming to you from Big Sky, Montana, coming out of the Big Sky Freeride team, and now on the Method Freeride team.
All right, so he's cruising across, and he's just at the top of Lesser's Leap here as he drops into his line, looking for something to jump off of. There it is. A nice little air, but it still counts, right? You can tell how steep it is. You can see that rollerball flying past him there. Oh, this is a brand new line, airing into that little couloir in Lesser's Leap. Great control. Opened up a new zone on this face after 18 riders. Great job as he's trying to keep his speed as he creeps across into this next little section here.
Really creative take on that top section. And yeah, it looks like he didn't quite have the speed to smooth out that traverse, but I think it was well worth it. That was a really fun approach to that top feature.
What did you say about traversing a moment ago?
Traverse with a purpose, and it looks like he is doing that here because he has a reason for it.
Oh, no,
Oh,
goodness.
no.
He ended up landing on that rock in his landing. He's upset, but I think he's okay. Oh, that was frustrating. What a great start. But we haven't seen anybody take that straight just the way he had today. And you can see that little bit of a rock that he clipped on his landing. So not enough speed off the front of that. So let's hope that no other riders end up getting caught up on that little shark waiting in the depths.
Yeah, and we're looking at the venue right now across the way from us, and you can really see that rock where Isaac landed is exactly where the sweet spot is for that, where he took it. So it's kind of a bummer to see that, but that's, again, part of that uncontrolled terrain is you got to navigate. But action never stops. Dual panel. Kiana Putman is dropping in.
Coming out of Ski Talk, Alaska. All right, working her way into the chute.
Catching some nice air there, building that line score up top. And that's something we've seen so far is not the largest airs at the top, but I think that's a smart strategy, is to definitely pick off something that these athletes know they can land, so that way they can build up to the larger, more complicated features at the bottom. And Kiana's doing that. She's just biting off really solid, smart chunks for this top section.
Yeah. Like you said, nice airs aren't necessarily big airs, and they're not mutually exclusive.
Exactly, and clean is really what the judges are looking for. That controlled.
A lot of this. Sorry to interrupt you. We're seeing a lot of this kind of in that zone. It's very, very steep, but a lot of the riders are finding themselves having trouble getting onto the features. They're getting slowed down trying to get up onto those ridges or up onto those little edges or spines, which we just saw Kiana. We saw that with the last rider, Isaac. So it's kind of this really interesting duality to this face right now. It's fast, it's steep, but it's also, I guess, as soon as you try to go east and west to try and get up onto a feature, it seems to be causing a little bit of difficulty.
Catching a nice little jump there, too. And jumps like that will not necessarily contribute to their line score, but will contribute to their style. So little airs here and there, not quite over larger features. It's showing off that style, but not always necessarily large enough to bite off a chunk of line. And Kiana's making some nice turns as she cruises back to our Lime Scooter Air. Lining up exactly how she wants to take it.
Perfect.
Nice and smooth.
Well done to finish her run. Slashing a couple turns on her way down. I don't blame it.
Solid riding out of Kiana. Getting all the hugs. The mandatory hug in the finish corral. We love to see it.
That's the best part.
All right, back to Panel Bay. Panel B, Mitchell Davern, coming to you from New Zealand out of Cardrona Treble Cone.
Panel Bay, is that your favorite one?
Getting all the vowels. And Mitchell is dropping in.
How cool does that look on the screen? If you're watching on freeskier.com right now, you must be having a good time. Oh, big 360 above the exposure. We haven't seen that in that zone yet. Great put down from Mitchell Davern. Coming out of it hot, great control on his edge as he cruises down through this dare chute. Heading into this little central air. Throwing another 360, stomping. As he cruises into this little high traverse, which we saw Holden creep into as well. We've only seen a few tracks in there. This is where it's the most fresh. But he's going to cut way high and see if he can get a nice little air and ride out of here just above this little tree. Boom, laced it right through the center. Cranking a turn to see if he can get into the lime scooter spot. Just missed it. So that was actually, I think, a good move. He tried to get to that cliff, or to that little air, but realized he wasn't going to. So instead of sacrificing his fluidity, got back on edge, cranked a turn, and make it down to the bottom with some speed.
Definitely thinking on his feet, and it was really interesting to see how he took that first 360 up top in that high consequence terrain, kind of going against what I said about athletes taking it a little more mellow to play it safe up top, but he really just went for it, bit off a big feature with a big trick, and it was very successful for Mitchell, so glad to see that hard work paid off.
Yeah, definitely stood out to me as one of the best runs of the day through Snowboard Men.
Absolutely, really took that risk, and it was well executed. So
2 spins, an interesting line choice. He made his way over to pick more features, but then also had smart riding at the bottom, realizing, hey, I'm not going to make this. I'm just going to adjust on the fly. So I'd say, I'm going to put a little star next to Mitchell's name for me.
I like it. Definitely a notable run from our snowboard man.
All right, we've got Kaya Hannapin out of Kirkwood, California. So even though we're not in Kirkwood, we could consider this her home event.
Absolutely. And Kaya is making some nice turns off the top here. She's actually coming out of a partial ACL tear this season. So nice solid air out of Kaya. I'm sure she's, playing it a little cautious as she's been recovering. I was chatting with her about it, that she's navigating, recovering from an injury, and competing on the Challenger Series. Those are 2 things that are not easily mixed, and Kaya's making it look nice and strong as she laces up her second air of her run.
Drops it right to her feet. Well done. Calm, collected, in control.
All the things we want to see out of our athletes.
All right, nice little kind of hop turn there.
Absolutely.
Not quite an air, not quite a turn, somewhere in the middle.
Again, showing off that style component as well. Those little jumps are definitely still contributing to the score. Okay, coming into our middle section here.
Just a little bit of air off the side right before it gets big. Just find a nice little nibble for her to bite off of. Something comfortable, Just a little taste.
And she looks so comfortable on her board as she's cruising through. She looks very controlled and confident in her stance. It's exciting to see Kaya ride. She's the sweetest thing, too. It's always a pleasure to chat with her. She has a great smile and is just always so sweet.
Cutting in across right where we saw Mitchell Davern laced between those 2 little trees here in the landing. Have a little bit more trouble getting in, but I think she can point it from right there on her board. Nice control. Right in there, you can see the landing's a little chopped up, so you don't want to get too much speed, which we actually saw Mitchell get a little bit too much speed, and he missed this lower lime scooter feature, which she ended up lacing. Not a problem. Put it down to her feet. Slashing through and milking those turns. Absolutely loving it. So that's where we saw Mitchell and her hit that exact same spot, one after another. But she went through with a little bit more control in her speed and was able to pick up that extra feature below her, which is definitely going to improve wonders for her score.
Absolutely, and I really like those turns she made coming out of that feature. It was really solid to see her control all that speed. And back up to the top, we have Charles Somerville on course.
Riding out of Fernie. Working his way through this top zone. As he's going to be cutting across the slope. Popping an air right into the chute. Great control on his way out of here. What's he lining up next? There's another little air just below him here.
Kind of a little mini mid-run spine. Well done.
Linking some big turns through our venue here in the middle. Coming up to this middle feature.
Taking it right off the nose, kind of lacing it. So there's kind of, it's not, from where we are, it looks like it could be a drop. And I think maybe a few of them thought the same sort of thing. We'll have to ask them after the event. But it's kind of more of like a little technical little move through the middle there, rather than an air.
Absolutely, catching
That's
some
an air, though.
there, yeah. And even with that roll off, even though it's not that air feature that we see so often in freeride, lining up a techie straight line like that still will contribute to line score, because that's
nicely.
Exactly. It's much harder to do that than to just go around in the chute. So the judges are taking that into consideration with the different ways that you can hit a feature. It's not always about the big air. It's about the technical turns or straight lines that come into more complex terrain.
It's the sum of your run. Right? It's all those components that you put in together.
Absolutely. There's so much that goes into it. Getting a nice view of what it looks like from the bottom. You can just see the amplitude of this venue. All right, got word that we're ready to drop our next athlete.
Natalie Allport. She was on the Freeride World Tour this year. A couple unfortunate events, which ended up obviously missed the cut. There was a bunch of events that were canceled, and she actually was in the hospital a couple days before both of the events, so she wasn't feeling her best. But she is coming down this really, really exposed section. High consequence as she comes right back into the sunshine with a great air. Natalie always charges really, really hard, and she's very, very strong as a former CrossFit competitor. Boom, going for the grab, putting it to her feet.
And Natalie took the lingering fingers entrance, which is something we haven't seen a lot yet this morning from our athletes. So really exciting to see a unique take to the venue.
All right, kind of right off to the edge of this little feature. Oh, and then she actually found the air. So we saw a lot of people kind of working their way through the middle, and it was more of a lacing turns through there, finding that little techie zone, where she managed to find a nice air off to the side. Great riding from Natalie so far as she cruises over to this line scooter cliff. Didn't get too low. Had to get her speed back. She just made it in. Boom, stomped to her feet. Coming out the bottom with a little heat. Let's see if she slashes some pow turn for us.
So clean. She's such a powerful rider. You can just really see the strength behind her riding. She's so controlled and comfortable in her stance on her board, and I'm a big fan of watching Natalie ride.
Absolutely. She won the final two events in the Challenger Series last year, which put her onto the tour. So she is no stranger to the Challenger Tour, no stranger to competition, and I think she's going to be happy with that run.
Absolutely. And next on course, we have Bradley Lamoureux. Bradley's coming to you from Colorado, Wolf Creek. And he's caught a huge air. That was so fun to watch. Looks like maybe a little bit of a butt check coming out of it, but that was really clean. He had the style. That was really fun to watch.
Oh, perfect. It kind of pops up onto that little shelf and then pops off.
Creative take to that one.
Yeah, being creative, being playful. It's all going to help towards their runs. How are you going to set yourself apart from the rest of these riders? That's how. That's
Exactly.
Definitely one way. Beautiful floaty 360. Nothing about that looked forced.
No, really solid execution from the takeoff to the maneuver and the landing. That was clean through and through.
Okay, so he's coming into this little diagonal cliff. As you can see, it's actually getting pretty rough in there. Puts it right down. No problem. Is he going to make his way over to this bottom area? He absolutely is. And he's taking it off the town bike side with a grab. The side that Tavo opened up. Slash and turns through the POW. Oh, I love to see it.
Really exciting run out of Bradley. That was action-packed from the top to the bottom. He made use of all of the terrain. It was really exciting to watch him link all those features together and really showcase his strengths as a snowboarder.
So Bradley is currently sitting in 3rd place overall. So that was a really solid run. I'm not a judge. I'm not doing the judging, but I would like to say he's going to be happy with that, and that's going to set him up nice. As we said, the top 2 of your 3 runs over this 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series goes towards whether you get onto the tour or not, whether you advance or whether you just win the challenges. That in itself is enough.
100%. Back up, we just got word that our next athlete is dropping in, Tegan Riley Turner, coming to you from Crested Butte. Tegan coming into the truth chute here, making some clean turns in the steep terrain, linking them back and forth.
You can see that. I don't know if you can see here on the screen. It's a little dark for us, but you can see how steep it is by those roller balls kind of working their way down the slope right behind her. A little bit of wind rolling up through the chute as well.
And I think that's something we're going to see is the conditions are going to change throughout the day as the athletes ski it off, and that'll be part of their game plan, knowing when they drop and understanding what that'll look like when their time comes to ski or ride.
Oh, great big air. Just where we saw Natalie Alpart go, off to the side of that middle little buttress. Coming out with a little bit of heat, slashing turns in the POW, really linking turns like aggressively.
Speedy. That was really fun to watch her really cruise through that bottom section there, Tegan. That was awesome.
Really showing off her edge skills.
Solid technique in that. And again, that's a category that the judges are looking for. Technique. They want to see clean riding. It's not just about the huck. It's about how well it's executed in the turn quality.
That was a quality run.
That was
Tegan Riley Turner. We've had quite a few in a row here. The athletes are stepping it up and putting on a show for us.
Going to jump back to panel B, Jeremy Allaire.
Jeremy Allaire actually hit that same little debris feature at the bottom of Whitewater last week, which I talked to Audrey, who spun off it, and I was like, "You're the only." You and Jeremy are really the only people that hit that. She says, "For real?" Like, I thought everyone would have. I'm like, no. So it's just a matter of one of the things that may give you a leg up is how you view the mountain. You know, there's been a couple spots on here that we've only seen 1 or 2 people go into. So are you able to create a more creative line? Are you able to see? Oh, I had
and creativity, there it is. Jeremy taking a nice solid chunk off that top.
Yeah, first time we've seen anybody air that just off of, I believe,
left dare.
The top of the dare chutes.
That was a really solid bit of feature he picked out there too.
So he's working up in this other new section. We haven't seen anybody go up this high on this slope. So really, really creative line from Jeremy here.
Yeah, it looks like he really enjoyed that powder turn off to the side. Fun to watch them get creative and kind of say, you know, I just want to ski over there. I just want to ride over there just because it looks fun and good. Got some fresh turns and...
Oh, going for the 360 tail grab.
So we've seen some strong technical riding out of Jeremy as well as the tricks, and it looks like he's got one more for us here.
Oh, great grab off the line, scooter cliff. Well done. Really interesting line. Great air at the top. Nice little air feature. Beautiful spin, grab at the bottom. He's going to be happy with that as well.
And Jeremy was our 26th athlete to drop today, so we've seen quite a variety of lines and quite a variety of unique takes on the same face. It's, like you said, Mark, really interesting to see what the riders are picking out and planning and executing.
I love when you can get all these different riders and the way they see the mountain is so different, and then being able to have them show us exactly how they see it. And every once in a while you get one of those runs where it just makes you go, oh, I would have seen that myself. I never would have. I don't view the mountain like that. That's really interesting how they're able to do that. But then also some of these riders see things that the regular mortal humans just cannot. And what they end up doing is so mind-blowing. You're like, how did you even see that?
Really fun to see. And we have Liliana coming into our truth chute here. Liliana is linking some beautiful turns up at the top, and it looks like she's on her heel hedge getting ready to line up a feature here. pointing it off the nose to her feet.
Good edge control into this next little feature, which she decides is not for her. I'm just going to keep going down through the middle.
It looks like Liliana's making her way to this middle section of our venue. Again, so fast so they can just clean through the top.
Lily, this is our last snowboard woman rider of the day. She cruises into this little techie zone. Oh, and it'll pop off that bottom, little bottom shelf. Back to her feet. This is a really, really comfortable, not comfortable, but really solid run for Liliana.
But I think she looks comfortable on her
Yeah,
board. I
that's-
think we're on the right track, is that she's a solid run from her, but looking so comfortable in doing it. And that's so beautiful to see them just feel confident behind what they're doing.
Being comfortable and looking like you're comfortable are
Are two very different
two
things.
different things.
Looks like we've got one more chunk here from Liliana biting off her line score to her feet. Really solid execution.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, watching us on the live stream, freeskier.com. That wraps up snowboard women. So what we're going to be doing now is we are going to finish with the snowboard men. And once they're complete, we are going to get started with the dual panel for ski men and ski women. So we've got 3 more snowboard men to drop. Next up is former FWT rider Warren Doyle. He was on the tour in 2023 and 25, I believe.
Warren's got such a smooth style. He's got all the tricks. It's so fun to watch him ride.
He is a challenger champion himself as well, as he's coming in hot on his heel edge, coming back around. The big air and grab into the gnar. As you can see, it does not look easy. This is where I believe Tilden had trouble on his ride out.
Already 2 features into the top and still up there, biting off a third.
Really fighting to stay on his edge. He is really, really strong on his board. Really, really good board control, good edge control, and he's proving it now. He's going to pop off this little shelf. Oh, and he takes it as a double through the center. This is what we were just talking about. We haven't seen it hit like that, as a double off that second little pyramid as he's coming into this bottom air. And he's taking the town bike with a grab. That looks like it's a better landing to me with a big pow slash. Good job, Warren Doyle.
Oh, smooth and clean out of Warren.
The top looked like a bit of an adventure, but you got to give them credit because, as we saw Tilden in that zone, with that speed, it is not easy, but they do their best to make it look as easy as possible. Well done, Warren Doyle. Next up, we have Jordan Tripp out of Missoula, Montana. He is an interesting dude. I had a nice conversation with him at dinner yesterday, and he is a husband and father. His wife and his kid is here, but he's also a TV analyst for college football. So he does our job for college football. And another fun fact, he is a former NFL linebacker. Yes, that's true. He was in the NFL for 4 years, I believe, between 2014 and 2018. Played for 4 different teams, including the Atlanta Falcons as well as the Seahawks, my team. Really fascinating guy, great guy to have a conversation with, and he is all about free ride. He talked my ear off, asked me all these questions, and really was so enthusiastic about this new sport of his, and he is all in. Really fascinating dude, and we're about to see Jordan Tripp drop in. And I was asking him about core strength. I said, I bet your core must be really, really strong. And he said, yeah, as soon as he got to the NFL, that's one of the main things they focus on. He's about 40 or 50 pounds lighter than he was when he was a linebacker. So let's see how he does. New to free ride. Oh, that looks just absolutely beautiful for the camera. Making turns in this really techie zone.
Jordan making great use of the top section. Flowing nice and smooth. As he makes his way further, skier's right.
It's a fun little air that nobody's hit yet. Nice landing. Great control speed as he a little threads the needle between those 2 little trees. He's working his way right over to rider's right, this little diagonal zone that has some really nice little features if he can find his way in. Looks like he's doing quite well with his route finding so far.
Absolutely. This venue looks a little easier to pick up. Ooh, catching some nice air there. But it looks like it's easier to find those landmarks to really line up where you want to go. Coming up to our last feature here. Taking the Lime scooter straight to his feet.
Nice, interesting run. Found a new feature that nobody's hit yet, kind of traversing right underneath that Lesser's Leap little pyramid cliff.
And that's a fun one. It looks like the takeoff of that was really solid into a nice landing, which is, again, part of that chopped up venue that we saw because it was open to the public, but really good shelf to take off, and Jordan did a really good job with that.
Yeah, he's going to be really happy with that run. In the whitewater event, he had a little bit of a kind of a punch front somersault that I told everybody. It looks like he did it on purpose, and I asked him. He said he definitely did not. I said, "Hey man, don't tell anybody." He's like, "Don't worry about it." So this is a really good run for him. He's been able to put one down top to bottom. He's going to be really happy. We've got one more rider from the snowboard men category, and that is going to be Nicholas Carroll. Nick from Hidden Valley, Missouri. I'm assuming where they make the ranch dressing.
Nick was down competing in Argentina this year and just had a really solid run at the 4-star. I believe he won it. So Nick's had a really strong season. He's been building up all year, not just this winter, but all year to really work his way to this challenger spot. And just what an accomplishment to make it up here and competing at this level.
It says here one of his hobbies is glass blowing. So I'm actually going to have to go ask him if that's a real thing because, to be honest with you, all of the, I guess, Discovery Channel and History Channel shows where it's like cake baking or house renovations, I actually got stuck. I think it was Netflix. I got stuck on a glass blowing competition show. I was absolutely fascinated. So if that's the case, I'm going to go have to pick his brain and find out some information as he drops in to his run.
Cruising up to the top. Up on the ridge.
Working his way down and then finding, is this just, I guess, taking his time to find where he's going to drop in. Looks like he's going a little bit farther than most of the riders here, over into that right dare chute. You can see him right up top there.
And getting ready to drop in to that right dare chute. Looks like he's going to bite off a chunk here and get ready for his first feature to his feet. Controlling it with his heel edge because it looks like he's lining something else up here.
Oh, here we go. We've seen one other rider air into this zone, finding his way, working his way through the Nar. Very nice, putting it down, riding through the chute. High consequence, but he executed it perfectly. Took him a little while to get in, but for a reason.
Absolutely. Now he's already in the midsection of the venue. Looks like he's lining up our mid-feature here.
Just off the side. It's a nice, comfortable little air as he can control his speed and actually keep working his way underneath this big cliff band and traverse across into this next little kind of diagonal air that a handful of riders have been coming in. But he's got to be careful because right before the lip, you're going to see that it is getting really chopped up right where he's at now.
Yeah, definitely some other riders exposed some sharks, but it is not a problem for Nick because he did that look so smooth.
Definitely a nice job. Staying on here. Boom. The LS Cliff Lime Scooter. We call it that. If you're just tuning in, we're calling it that because everybody gets a ride. It's like the town bike, which is the other side of that little cliff. All right, Nicholas Carroll with a really unique line. Kept it on his feet, kept it controlled. He's going to be happy with that. So that is our final rider for the first two categories, snowboard men and snowboard women. We're going to be back in just a few moments after this short break from our partners. I'm Mark Warner.
My name is Rachel Shannon.
You're watching us on freeseer.com.
and this is the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series, and we'll be back with ski men and ski women before you know it.
There's nothing like the thrill of discovering a new ski spot, but you can't underestimate the challenge.
Okay, Simon, go left at the beginning, then right. Let's rip it.
That's why you need someone by your side who knows the terrain, no matter how experienced you are.
That was a good one.
Let's do it again?
Yeah.
This moment, holding out for something golden. Found a light on a hill. I was waking up, looking for peace in a world that's divided. Gotta hold on tight when you find it. I was turning around, I was waking up. You're pulling me right in, rotate till you again. I'll live the rest of my life by your side.
There's nothing like that click. That moment where everything just falls into place. Where movements become muscle memory. And control feels like freedom. Every version of yourself echoing, teaching you, pushing you to that point. The moment you know you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Welcome back, everybody, to the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series. We are here in beautiful Kirkwood. This isn't Kirkwood. I got mistaken here. This is the I almost pulled that off. This is the Kirkwood event, restaged here in beautiful Kicking Horse, British Columbia, just above the town of Golden, BC. You can see I've got my Tahoe Freeride hat on for all of you folks that unfortunately didn't get to have the competition in your home today. We're here on T1 South, one of several venues that we're able to use and utilize here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. I also want to give a shout out to the Kirkwood venue, the Cirque, which is absolutely legendary. But actually, we're going to have to carry on with that story in just a few moments because our first rider in the next section is about to drop in right now. We have, out of Whistler Freeride Club, a former Freeride World Tour rider this season is trying to make his way back onto the tour through the Challenger, win the Challenger Series, Mr. Lachlan Harvey.
Absolutely, and Lachlan will be our first athlete for ski men in Panel A. So we are all wrapped up with our snowboarders and going to reset for our skiers, our ski men and ski women, to finish out our day. And it was pretty rapid fire for our snowboarders. They made quick use of the venue, so some really strong riding, some good tricks and airs and good technique, and really excited to see what the skiers are going to do to put their own creative twist on T1 South here today.
Absolutely. So Lachlan is currently sitting in 6th place overall. As we mentioned, for the people who win here, the top 4 move on to the Freeride World Tour in ski men, the top 2 in ski women, the top 2 in snowboard men, and the top rider in snowboard women move on to the tour and claim the title of the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series champion. Here we go, Lachlan Harvey on course, working his way down this little ridge where we saw a lot of the riders hit. Airs into this, and this is the section where we had a lot of trouble on the runouts. As you can see, it's really, really uneven, really choppy, so you gotta have really good edge control. As he's coming in to this next section, lots of speed, little shifty, ripping across this chute with a lot of volume.
Absolutely, that was a really fast top section, 2 big airs, but he's not done yet, throwing in another air with a tweaked out shifty in the middle section here, and making his way through the trees on this traverse track we saw a lot of our snowboarders on. Getting
really, really high above this. This is where it gets tough right there. But with the skiers, I guess it's easier because you just point straight over all of that, whereas the snowboarders, you kind of have to work your way and like almost pendulum your way through that little section. So we just kind of lost him there. There he goes, right out the bottom, lots of speed. Lachlan Harvey wasting no time in getting us started for ski men.
Absolutely, really setting the tone for our division of ski men today. That was fast, that was powerful. It had the airs and the grabs. That was really fun to watch.
All right, if we are going right over to ski women, it looks like we might have Ignacia Cantilano. We'll wait to see who is about to drop here. I think that's who we've got. Riding out of Chile. She's been living in the Sea to Sky area for the last couple of years. Whistler, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Sea to Sky. Do you know why they call it the Sea to Sky?
I don't. Why is that, Mark?
Because it's this beautiful highway, the Sea to Sky Highway, which runs from Vancouver all the way up to Whistler through Squamish, and you drive up along basically parallel to Howe Sound, and it is absolutely beautiful. Then you get to the town of Squamish, which is the I guess the end of where Howe Sound is. And then you go from the sea and you drive right up to Whistler, the sky. And it's an absolutely spectacular drive. If you have a motorcycle or you got a good car and you got a nice sunny day, it's absolutely fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. I've probably driven it 400 or 500 times, and every time I drive down, it looks a little different.
Oh, so fun. I love a drive like that where it's just always engaging, entertaining. Big fan of a good road trip.
Absolutely. So yeah, Lachlan from the Whistler Freeride Club. Ignacia Cantilano is living there as we speak. I actually drove out to Kicking Horse with Iggy, and I got to know her, and she is a really lovely, lovely human.
Super sweet. I got to meet her when I was down in Chile skiing in Colorado this past season too, and just always has a smile on her face and very, very fun to talk to. Really, 10 out of 10 human being.
Happy, positive vibes, absolutely. And that goes for a lot of the riders here on the Challenger Tour and in freeride in general. They're getting to do really cool things. Yes, there's competition, and yes, it can be stressful, but in the whole scheme of it, we're here over this Challenger Series for about a week and a half, couple weeks. There's 3 days of competition. You get
one run in each of those days, and the rest of that time is filled with good people, friends, getting to know each other, exploring the area that you're at, like Whitewater, Nelson, Golden, Kicking Horse here. So you get to spend a lot of time with a lot of cool people who are basically traveling the world, doing what they love, and they're getting to ski on their off time. So why wouldn't all these people be happy and bubbly and fun?
Absolutely. And I think that's something we see with these athletes when they interact with each other is it's very engaging because it's so relatable. They can really look at each other and be like, wow, we're all doing this really gnarly, really hectic thing together, and they have that, and they're able to relate to each other, and I think that's what really builds that community.
Yeah, welcoming as well.
Very
Exactly.
welcoming. And Ignacia is on course.
Oh, she's coming down the
Ooh,
ridge
I
with a little
think
bit of speed.
Let's get a
This
triple
looks
check
like
on which our
this looks
athlete
like might
is.
be another
Ski
man
man,
rider.
yes.
I have a feeling it might be Rye Man.
I agree with you.
It is Rye Man coming out of the USA. Whoa, with a big air. Stay on your feet. Wow, big air. And he actually chopped a piece of that tree off, I think with his ski. Managed to keep it together. Going with the front flip. Oh, goodness. Couldn't quite hold on. And he's back on his skis again.
I'm seeing a lot of cat-like reflexes out of Rye here,
with a
bouncing back up left and right.
With a shifty. This is an adventure from top to bottom with the backflip. And that's the one he's looking for, to bolts. I don't even realize what just happened there. We almost missed that. So he had that big air at the top, his first big air. He actually took a chunk of the tree off.
I saw that. It was caught a little off balance too on the landing, but was able to pull it back together, linked it into the front flip. Again, a bit of a control issue there, so that will show up in his score, but then was able to, execute a nice clean backflip on our last feature there. So I think he has quite a mix of emotions, some successes, some less successful tricks, but all around fast, exciting, engaging run out of Rye Man.
Those are two of the best recoveries I think I've seen through the whole event, both events so far, both in the same run. Like, definitely went for it. Absolutely. I'm glad he's down at the bottom. I'm glad he's safe. He may not be all that happy with it, but I'll tell you, that was that was really fun to watch and impressive. Like, the core, I was talking about, so core earlier, core control, like, that just shows how strong that guy's core is. When you're that far in the back seat, you've got gravity pulling you down at speed, and you're able to bring your body centered over your skis and get them underneath you again to basically save yourself. Really impressive. So he's going to be a strong dude. He must be doing a lot of push-ups and sit-ups.
And something that's also really exciting I liked out of that run is spinning in two different directions, too. So the front flip and then the back flip, and that's something judges also look for with being able to spin left and right. Being able to have tricks in multiple directions really increases that rider level and shows off a multitude of having different skill sets.
Yeah, good point, actually. When I always think spinning right, spinning left, but rarely do you think flipping forward, flipping backwards as an interesting balance point as well. Yeah, because you say, when you watch a run, you're like, oh, he spun right, he spun left, or unnatural. And I wonder if the backflip or front flip is unnatural and what's natural. Because there's usually a stronger side when you spin, and I wonder if I'm sure there's a stronger size for a flip. I know a lot of riders say the backflip is easier because then you can see your landing. But when I was younger, I always thought the front flip was easier because it was less scary.
100%, a little bit less of that risk of the takeoff, it feels, with the front flip, but also that, just really clean tricks out of Rye. That was really fun to watch. And I had a coach say to me a while ago that, a backflip is really just a 360 on a different axis. And that kind of gave me a totally different perspective on the trip, as it really is just 1 degree of rotation just on a different axis. And it made the trick feel a little bit more approachable, too.
Oh, that's interesting. That's what good coaches are all about,
That's
hey?
Exactly.
Being able to make you understand what you're doing much better. All right, so we're waiting for our next rider here. I think, so we went through Rye Man. It may be Nahuel Medrano from Bariloche before we get to Ignacia. We're just waiting to hear from the starters, and then we're going to be well on our way. So we've already got 2 ski men riders in, Lachlan Harvey as well as Rye Man. We finished up with snowboard men and snowboard women here on T1 South, the venue today at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. It looks like we got a rider on course. It is indeed Nahuel Medrano.
Noel Medrano.
Noel, pardon me.
Barloche, Argentina. Our Argentinian rider on course, and looks like he might be heading through the ridgeline into our dare area. Still cruising on the ridgeline. The judges will not start scoring him until he properly drops into the venue. And it looks like he's going to do so right now.
Here we go. Yeah, working his way just below, dropping into this chute, just below the Lesser's Leap, it's called.
Really clean execution out of that top feature. He lined it up so perfectly, so smooth, and is just going to keep linking turns till he comes to this middle section here.
So right off the center, it's not as, oh, he found it. Oh, and perfectly laced that transition. So with a lot of the snowboarders, we didn't see them get as much speed as we just saw Noel hit as he cruises into this little side hit here. And the skiers can point through this little section a little easier than the snowboards did. A nice little shifty and a grab. Coming out with a little bit of heat. Looks like he's going to skip that bottom air. Maybe slash a turn in the sun. Oh, just missed the sunny spot. And there it is. Really nice solid run. So off that center cliff, we saw a lot of the snowboarders kind of drip off it and kind of, like you said, ride through kind of a technical exit. He's the first one to air right off the nose, and he absolutely laced that transition perfectly down below. So that's another new way of a feature we've seen hit many times today.
And we just got word that we will now start back with our dual panel, so I think they were just checking off those first ski men to make sure we can line back up, and we have Ignacia back on course. Ignacia's making her way along the ridgeline and getting ready to drop into the truth chute. Ignacia lacing up some turns here up top, again in these steeps. Looks like she's heading more towards her skiers right of this chute to line up this first feature for her line.
There she goes, taking her time to make sure. And that's the thing too, is right. You got to make sure you ride within your means. So she definitely had to control her speed, got into that line, executed exactly how she was able to, and she kept it to her feet. And that's really what you want to do in a run.
100%. Again, the riders are being scored heavily on their control. One of the rules in freeride is don't scare the judges. Ooh, a little bit of a sit down here. It looks like maybe she got a little caught up on a snow snake or something. Something maybe we couldn't quite see behind that tree, but she's back on her feet and moving again. And you know, I wonder if that threw her off track. It looked like maybe she was heading towards that middle feature that we've seen a lot of our athletes frequently hit, and I wonder if she just got spun around just a little bit and didn't quite make her original trajectory.
All right, cutting back across the slope. Carving a nice big fat turn. Working her way down to the bottom. As you can, I don't know if you can see I can't quite see it on the television yet, but the sun is getting a little higher in the sky, and some more sunlight is starting to show onto the lower side of the face, as you can see there. So I wonder if the sun is actually going to kind of kiss the surface of some of these chutes in the next 15-20 minutes. Right on cue. Nice work from the guys in the booth. As you can see, we're kind of under here just so we can see our screen. We can say hi to you, everybody watching us on freeskier.com. As we got Thames Marvel coming in. He is a series wild card. So he got a wild card. He's going to be here for all three events. Oh, right top air. Hold on, hold on. Slamming on the brakes is a good idea in that spot because there is a lot of exposure underneath you. As he sends a big air. That's a new line for that air as well. Holding on and carving turns as we get into this little middle section. Big shifty off the side as he cuts across into this diagonal cliff section here. He's going to work his way through the trees.
Catch a little air there.
And he's actually coming into this maybe a little faster, a little higher than we've seen most as well. Perfect landing. So where he took off about 3 or 4 feet higher than a lot of our riders have through that little section that's really getting worn down.
Absolutely, and I wonder if that was his plan when he decided, I want to hit this diagonal rock from the top, or if he saw the sharks and saw, maybe I can pivot up a little bit. So either way, really strong, clean riding out of that last air from Tams.
I think that actually was the right call because he had went a little bigger than most, and it looked like his landing was a little smoother as well, just with how the exit is getting chopped up.
Absolutely.
Well, you see the sun is starting to creep onto the finish corral as well.
Really sweet drone shot here of our finish corral.
Mm-hmm. The sun creeps, but he isn't a creep. We love the sun, don't we?
And back up to the top, we're going to have our next rider, Kayla Constantini. Kayla's coming to us fresh out of the junior series.
Constantini, pardon me.
Constantini, I'm so sorry, Kayla.
Out of Whistler Freeride Club, Whistler, BC. She's familiar with that sea to sky zone I was telling you about. And I'm pretty sure she's been here several times as well. A lot of those Canadian freeride, junior freeride riders spend a lot of time competing here in Kicking Horse. And she is attacking this face with a stay on your feet. Oh goodness.
No.
Hold on.
Unfortunately, taking quite a bit of a tumble there.
All right, folks.
But we have a head tap from
Great
Kayla.
head tap. So we're going to go and let her take a few moments to collect her things. And we'll be back with you shortly from Kicking Horse Mountain Resort here in Golden, BC.
There's nothing like that click. That moment where everything just falls into place. Where movements become muscle memory. And control feels like freedom. Every version of yourself echoing, teaching you, pushing you to that point. The moment you know you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Something golden, found a light on a hill. I was waking up, looking for peace in a world that's divided. Gotta hold on tight when you find it. I was turning around, I was waking up. You're pulling me right in, rotate to you again. I'll live the rest of my life by your side. I wanna stay here forever.
There's nothing like the thrill of discovering a new ski spot, but you can't underestimate the challenge.
assignment. Go left at the beginning, then right. Let's rip it.
That's why you need someone by your side who knows the terrain, no matter how experienced you are.
That was a good one.
Let's do it again?
Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the IFSA FWT 2026 Challenger Series. And just to let everybody know, Kayla has her skis on, and she is making her way back down to the finish corral. We had the Ski Ninjas on course, collect her gear. She gave us the head tap, and she is doing all right for it now. Good enough to ski to the bottom. Bit of a scary crash, but she is great. It's great to see her ride on back down to the bottom, and we are moving on.
Absolutely, and so a couple things with some free-ride language here. That head tap is what lets everyone know that the athlete is safe and okay. It's kind of an immediate communication to say, hey, took a big fall, but I am okay. I do not need patrol assistance. So always looking for that head tap, quick communication from our athletes. And since Kayla did lose a ski, she will not receive a score. She will be a DNF, just for some clarity on what happens when an athlete does not finish a run. But speaking of runs, we have Wyatt Gentry on course and skiing into his first air with the grab to his feet.
Right above this same little cliff that we saw Kayla heading into, airing into it and stomping. Probably one of the biggest airs we've seen today. Riding through into this middle section. He's looking really smooth and fluid. Left side 3. Stomping into this chopped zone and making his way over to this this little side cliff. So it looks like he kind of missed the ability to get to that little side diagonal cliff. Now he's hitting the town bike with big air. Wow, what a run, top to bottom. They got down there in like 10 seconds. He wasted absolutely no time.
I think that was definitely one of the faster runs we've seen today. He made great use of the time, of the venue, and that was really exciting skiing out of Wyatt.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice spin, couple big airs, quick run. You got to be happy with that one.
And back up to the top, our event wild card, Kaylin Griffin, coming to you from Salt Lake City, skiing out of Alta and Snowboard.
I met Kaylin in Andorra this year for the first ever World Championships. She was there watching the event, and now we're watching her ski an event as she works her way down from the top right through this overexposure section, linking some really nice turns, looking really comfortable on her skis. Really aggressive through this top section.
Absolutely, making nice work of the lingering fingers section and spitting out into the truth chute. Really powerful skiing behind Kaylin. She's such a strong skier and a strong athlete all around. She used to compete in mountain biking too, which I found very exciting.
Oh, wow.
Multi-talented athlete.
We actually went for a hike and skied a couloir very similar to the one she's skiing right now.
Coming into our middle air, solid pop off the side.
And traversing under the rocks here behind the trees and cranking a turn, followed by a few more.
Really good flow through that midsection there.
Nice little side hit off the town bike, and she works her way to the bottom. Another really fast, really comfortable run. She looked really solid on her skis, really aggressive and in control.
Yeah, really notable fluidity in that one and strong technique. Really nice arc in the ski, solid turn shape through and through. That was really strong riding out of Kaylin. Powerful skiing.
All right, it looks like next up we got P-Man Paul Melchert skiing out of Anchorage, Alaska, and the Alyeska Freeride team.
And Paul is dropping in into the lingering finger section.
Straight below the start gate. The nice air, and this is that section where we have a lot of people having a little trouble with the control. But it doesn't look like he's having any. And look how cool that looks with the sun and the wind. Boom, big air to bolts. Keeping his speed up, keeping his control. Heading into this middle section. Oh, wow, took it a little bigger. And another new line, finding a perfect transition there as well, controlling his speed into this lower air.
With the left side 360.
Big floaty,
Oh,
holding on to it,
nice.
holding on to it. Great run. Great run from Paul.
Super fast. I really like the way he took that middle section. We haven't quite seen that takeoff and that trajectory of that. That was really fun to watch. And yeah, like you said, he had to kind of shut down the speed because it was so strong and confident. He had to make sure he linked it to his next feature. Excellent riding out of Paul. And we will head back over to panel B, our ski women. Yone Gangoiti Perez on course. Originally from Spain, but now living in Whistler. Yone is one of my favorite skiers. Some techie turns up there with a bit of a pop off that section in our truth chute.
Yeah, that was a great little start to kind of work on, like I said, some technical skiing. We haven't actually seen that skied like that before as well. A nice little air out into the chute.
Picking up some speed here as she makes her way skiers right. And then ripping some nice, strong, solid turns.
Yeah, she's ripping some nice solid turns right into this center cliff zone. This little middle cliff.
Little pop off the side, and she's going to keep heading skiers right. Hopping on that traverse that we've seen a lot of our athletes put in the beginning of the event. And it looks like it's going to keep getting a little more packed out as more athletes take it. Coming into our diagonal cliff here. Gonna fight the sharks a little bit, but land to her
Nice.
feet. Smooth skiing out of it. And cruising into the finish corral. Strong, powerful skiing out of Yone.
Well done. She knows it too. She's happy with that one. Hands in the air, big smile on her face. Yeah, she's pumped.
Always has the biggest smile on her face.
That's what she wanted to do. And she did it. Felicitación, is that what you say in Spanish? Is that right? Does that work there?
I think we could apply that there.
What does that mean, like happy birthday?
And she rode her motorbike all the way to Chile this season. It was really fun watching her and her partner, their whole story on Instagram of taking the motorbike all the way to Chile and then spending the season down there.
From Whistler?
I believe it was from Whistler, definitely up in North America. It was a crazy experience. Took them a long time to get down.
Oh, wow. I read a book recently called Inside the Belly of an Elephant from the one of the publishers of Mountain Life magazine, which they have a version of here out in the Kootenays. Mountain Life Kootenays is Mountain Life Coast Mountain. Anyways, he wrote a book about his travels with his wife on a motorbike all through Africa and South America, which was actually a really, really great read. It's called Inside the Belly of an Elephant for those of you who need a good book.
Always love a good book.
Shout out author Todd Lawson. Definitely, I know a lot of these riders travel a lot of car trips, a lot of downtime, sitting around waiting for events. You're in a new town. Maybe you don't want to spend a lot of money because a lot of these riders have to work all summer and pay to make their way to get to a lot of these events and hotel rooms and travel. So if they have some downtime, they want a good read, maybe that'll help them out.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely an investment to get in it, but what a worthwhile investment.
Oh yeah,
it is.
worth every penny. Like, look how many riders we have that are trying to get just here. As we have our next rider on course, as they throw a big 360 into this top zone.
Adrian Hayden.
Oh, just a little control issue. They come off of that off that top cliff, really, really hot. That's where we saw. Kayla coming out of. That's where we've seen some issues, I believe, with some of the earlier ski man riders. And did he lose a ski there?
I don't think it's a ski. It looks like he maybe lost a pole.
Oh, he's lost a pole.
But athletes do not need both poles to receive a score. They do need both skis on their feet to receive a score, but you can, if you lose a pole, just kind of forget about it and keep going. The judges certainly will notice, and that will show up in their score, but the best thing to do is just keep moving.
And he's just having fun now. He slashed a big pow turn, arcing through the sunshine. He knows it's over, so he's just enjoying the rest of that run.
Fun to see the sun pop out on the venue.
So
too.
I wonder now, are we going to need to send a ski engine down to collect his pole? So where he went is a pretty high consequence zone. And if the pole is lying in the middle of the slope, we may have to go and remove that. So let's see what happens there if anybody's going to go down and collect that.
Absolutely, and that's something our technical director works on. The technical director is responsible for the safety of the course, so really making sure they're all communicating about things like that, pole left behind. They do have a ski retrieval team that can go and grab gear that was left behind. They're also, if an athlete does lose a ski, the first person to go and assist them if needed.
Right on. So my name's Mark Warner. I am here with Rachel Shannon. I am the host of the Freeride Guide podcast, which recaps a lot of these events. We talk about freeride. Rachel, yourself, you work for the IFSA in many different hats.
I do wear a lot of hats for the IFSA. I manage the education system, so I oversee the organization of our coach, judge, and technical director certification programs. We're always signing on new coaches to make sure they're educated to help our juniors have the best freeride experience, as well as we're starting to see a lot of the adult athletes have coaching too, which I think is really interesting because it's showing the progression of the sport and the need for some more guidance in these athletes to take off bigger chunks of what they want to do in freeride, and shows that guidance and just that progression in freeride that we are seeing.
And that makes sense too, because a lot of these riders, with the development of these really, really successful freeride clubs, Western Canada Freeride Club, there's the Whitewater Freeride Club, there's freeride clubs in Red Mountain, there's the all over. All these kids get into freeride really, really young, and when you learn to do something when you're young, you pick it up, and you're usually better at it as an adult versus starting something as an adult. So maybe these adult riders need to catch up a little bit.
And so on course, you can see our Ski Ninja retrieving the pole, so that does answer our question. Ski Ninja went in, grabbed the pole, cleared the course back up. But back to your point, Mark, is that something that's been noted is that these juniors have, they're being coached through their junior series, and they spend years with a coach going to events, working on their tricks, and then they graduate into the qualifying series. And it can be a bit of an abrupt drop-off of all of a sudden you're traveling on your own and you don't have your coach there, and it, is interesting to see that drop-off. So it's really great to see a lot of these athletes do have registered coaches come with them, and I think that's something we're going to start to see more and more of as freeride progresses.
Yeah, great point. Because with freeride, every weekend you're with your friends, you're with your crew, you're pushing each other, you're with your coach, and like you said, then it's all of a sudden, oh, it's just me now? You have your friends around you. Like we said, the community, this freeride community is fantastic, but not quite the same. So, yeah, really interesting. As we get a look here on the screen at the beautiful T1 feature, you can see the flags waving above us there, clouds moving around. It is an absolutely spectacular day here at Kicking Horse.
And warming up quite a bit too. This morning started off a bit chilly, but the sun's coming out, the action's happening. I'm definitely noticing a change in the weather, and super curious to know how the conditions are changing throughout the day. So, interesting show we have going on here with conditions changing, everything happening. Athletes are throwing down. We've seen some really exciting tricks so far, and we're currently on 41 athletes have dropped so far this morning.
So we're about halfway through the day. A lot still to come, and like you said, it could not be a better day for freeride. This is, as we mentioned, the second stop of the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series, and this is the Kirkwood restage. And I think right now we've got a new rider dropping in.
Elsa McAllister, coming to you from Tahoe, from Sugar Bowl Academy. But just got word we are going to hold for Elsa. Looks like they're still getting ready to make sure the production and nature of the event runs smoothly. So
everything is all foreign objects have been removed from the slope. So I wanted to actually talk a little bit. I think we were trying to talk about it earlier, and then we had a rider drop in, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the Cirque Face, the classic Cirque Face, which was the original destination for today's event. Oh, and it looks like we do have Elsa McAllister, and she is coming in hot, coming off this top little side hit. Boom.
Oh, I really like the pop she took into that. She had a lot of strength when she really pushed through the skis to lift those legs up and get that air. That was really strong in that first air. And she's cruising some more turns with the shifty to her feet.
Yeah, great little jump turn to put her in the right direction for that next feature.
Wave to the camera. She knows exactly where she is and what she's doing. She is just so intentional behind her skiing. She's become one of my favorite skiers to watch so far on this series.
Oh, another new little entrance into that zone, into that little middle buttress.
You know, I kind of want
Oh, a little air shifty going for the grab.
love that. I kind of want to call that middle air or infinity air because we've seen so many different takes.
Infinity air, I like it.
And she's coming down into our final air. She's taking the town bike. Little pop of the grab, it looked like.
I think she was
crossed
going,
the ski.
yeah, going for a quick little iron cross potentially. Oh, keep it together. Here we go. Yeah, great run from Elsa.
That was really strong skiing. Oh, she's stoked. Kisses to the camera. Huge smile on her face. We love to see that out of Elsa. Beautiful skiing. And back up top, we are going to have our next athlete, Joshua Bull, up next in the start gate. Josh is coming to you from Sierra at Tahoe. His favorite thing about the freeride community is the love and support of all the athletes. So kind of like we were saying earlier, that they're really up there supporting each other on and just enjoying the camaraderie. And Josh is dropping in now.
So I think we're going to see a lot of skiers dropping into this zone right off this little air here. But you got to really get on your edge and control your speed to this section. We saw a lot of people having troubles in there. And he handled it nice and smoothly. Exact same spot we just saw Elsa roll in. But he is cruising a little bit farther. Skiers right under this big cliff face. Skiers left, excuse me. Oh, getting a little caught up there.
Little caught up, bit of a control issue, but getting ready for his next feature here. Smooth through that. He really just rolled off the side and caught much more air than I was expecting off of that type of takeoff.
Really big air, really nicely. We haven't seen that line just yet. And just like we saw earlier in the snowboard women's category, he's able to cut back high and spin in off of the town bike. And he is rolling into the finish line. So a little bit of a control issue partway up, but finished strong with that big air fall line straight off the nose, finishing off with a little spin. Joshua Bull rolling in. He's a little happier than I think he had his. I think he had a little control issue and a crash in his last event.
And back up top, we have our series wild card, Anna Asimont.
Right out of Snowbird, Utah.
Anna was the Kings and Queens in Corbett's and the Queen of Corbett's in 2025 and competed again this year. Coming into the truth chute right now, lining up her first air.
And you know she's going to want to follow that up as the Queen of Kicking Horse. Oh, but having a little bit of trouble right in there. Right in there, it looks like there are some kind of ruts that have been developed. It's not a smooth run out, so you got to be careful if you have your skis kind of sideways to the slope. They don't get caught in one of those ruts. Little pop off the side of the infinity buttress.
The infinity buttress, I like it. Yep, taking the skiers right side of that one. A little bit of a pop there. And catching some nice turns as she cruises her way to our lime scooter, to the town bike. And is going to cruise her way into the finish corral. Big wave to the camera, and she is done, top to bottom. A little caught up in the middle there, but some really solid skiing out of Anna.
All right, next up, it looks like we've got Hans Weiner coming out of Park City. He is our series wild card. As you can see, we're about, well, I don't know if you can see just based on here, but this is the top 10 of our dropped ski min riders today. And we're about just past halfway through our entire roster today. We started off with dual panel with snowboard men and snowboard women. And we are now just getting started with ski men and ski women. And we're about to see Hans Weiner drop in right now.
Coming into that lingering finger section. Looks like he's going to take that top air to his feet and throw in some nice turns and line something else up here for us.
Coming in, lining up this air, setting it off right here, right into the pocket. Great transition. Sometimes you don't need to blast in there full speed. You just need to go at the right speed. As he's coming into this infinity air section, is he going to hit it off the nose, or is he just going to lace through the side? Getting on his edge, slowing his ski down. Oh, nice iron cross mute grab. As he cruises into this bottom air, town bike, straight line, stomp right into the bottom. Solid run. He's going to be happy with that one.
Absolutely. That was strong, powerful skiing. I feel like he hit.
So as you may have noticed that the clouds are kind of moving around a little bit. Right at his top section there where he hit that air, the big cliff, that's been in the sun all day. So the clouds are starting to move around a little bit. The weather's picking up. We get a little bit of wind here where we're sitting on the ridge. And we'll see how that adjusts. So we have Delilah Quinn dropping in. She's also a former Freeride World Tour rider. She got there winning the Challengers as well. And she is currently sitting, I believe, in 3rd place overall. Really linking features together here.
Biting off her second feature of the course so far. It looks like she's linking it up for a 3rd.
Right at the top. So she is really, really piling them up here. And experienced riders like her really know what the judges want to see and how to accomplish that within her riding. That's her 4th little pop, 4th air of her run, and she's only halfway down. 5.
With the little grab in there, super fun to see that style component thrown in, and that definitely will help build that style score for Delilah.
I bet you were getting a 6th one here.
I bet we do too.
Oh, throw the backflip! To her feet! Oh, wow! What a move from Delilah Quinn! She just lulled us into a really comfortable sense of joy on that run. Getting all those things, and basically she blew our minds there. Big backflip from Delilah Quinn. She is not messing around.
Talk about a trick up her sleeve. I feel like that top section was really controlled. There wasn't quite as much amplitude behind all her airs, but that's because she was saving it for that big one.
That was so building
clean,
up.
So strong.
Maybe just testing her landing gear, testing the snow. How is it going to feel? And I bet you from the top to the bottom, she was thinking about that the whole time. And it may have been good because you're not over-focusing on what you're doing. You're just naturally skiing. These riders do this for a living. They've done this their whole life. So skiing a run like that is just natural for them. So if she's able to be thinking about what's happening down below and just experiencing and skiing without thinking about what's happening there, mid-run.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
We love to see that. And again, that blend of strong skiing and strong technique really controlled the whole way down, but then mixing in that freestyle component. And Delilah did such a good job of blending that and creating that free ride line.
Putting the exclamation point on that run for sure. Building up that line score with 5 different features, 5 little different airs, and then capping it off with the backflip at the bottom. That is the run of the day for ski women, in my opinion.
So far, I'm really impressed, and just so exciting to see the ski women really take it to this next level. They're showing up and saying, you know, we have these tricks too, and we want to show them off, and just show that women's freeride skiing has come so far, and it's going to continue to go further too. Really impressive stuff. I'm really stoked on Delilah's run. That was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That was fantastic. She knew it too.
She's stoked. I can feel the stoke radiating off her from the finish corral.
She's got this quiet confidence about her. Mm-hmm. Just hanging out with her, after events, just chatting with her at dinner kind of thing. She's just got, like they said, this quiet confidence, this comfortability within herself, and it definitely shows within her skiing. She knows what she can do.
Yeah, she skis in that same manner as well. It's like, I love seeing athletes whose personality really shows up in their skiing, and that was a good example of that. But back up top, we have our next ski man, Reed Kelly, already dropped in, lining up his first air, taking it to his feet.
Reed Kelly currently sitting in third place on the Challengers. Third place in Whitewater last week as he is lining up this air. Perfect. Just get back a little, not quite perfect, but
little bobble, but really quick reaction to bring it back together. Pops off the infinity air to his feet and linking some turns to get back in control because he's going to line something else up for us here.
We're going to observe his way over this little diagonal little cliff here.
Taking that higher entrance that we saw. Ooh,
Oh, it got his,
getting a little spun around.
Goodness, got his inside edge clipped on some uneven snow there. Got high-sided and spun around. Unfortunate for Reed. He actually took that diagonal a little slower than I thought he was going to. He dripped off it more than popped off of it.
Absolutely, and since his skis stayed on, he will still receive a score. However, with a larger control issue like that, it will be significantly lower due to wanting to keep athletes skiing safe and comfortably. But yeah, you can see it in Reed's language. He's a little bummed on that one because what a bummer. But you know, that is free ride. You win some, you don't stomp some. It's just kind of the nature of the game, uncontrolled environment.
And as we mentioned, it's best 2 out of 3. So he has a third place in his first run. This is going to most likely be his throwaway, as we have Jenna Myers coming in hot right off the top.
Jenna's
obviously got a little bit of white room there. Couldn't see her landing, so it was smart of her to like slow it down. Oh no! As she loses a ski, that's unfortunate for her, but she's got it back.
Yeah, it looked like it was starting to roll down before her, and then she did a quick little maneuver with her other ski to catch it.
It almost looked like she was trying to click back in on the fly.
Yeah.
Like,
they didn't see me pop out. I can clip right back in.
Yeah, like a party trick. Unfortunate for Jenna. But I do give her a lot of credit for slowing down at the top of that first air there. As she went through, the wind blew up a lot of snow. She lost her visibility, and instead of her just sending it off blind, she had to slow it down, let the visibility come back out, landed it, and as she curled out, unfortunately, she caught some uneven snow, snapped her ski off. So she's just going to make her way down as easy and as smooth as possible, smashing some POW on her way. Staying out of the main features so she doesn't scrape some more snow off or impact it in any other way for future riders.
Exactly, and that's the strong freeride etiquette. Once you do, unfortunately, lose a ski, it is really important to just get to the bottom safely to, like you said, Mark, preserve the snow and also make sure that if another hiccup happens, it doesn't slow the roll of the event. So Jenna to the bottom safely. But, you know, shake it off. Best 2 out of 3 series. So she does have one more event to really show off what she can do. And back up to the top, our next athlete is going to be Stellan Lane. Stellan Lane from Alpine Meadows, another Tahoe rider. We've seen a lot of Tahoe riders so far. They've got quite a bit of really awesome terrain up there, a bunch of different ski resorts up in Tahoe. So really exciting to see all these athletes come out of here and show off some really strong skiing and snowboarding.
Yeah, shout out Tahoe Freeride. I'm wearing the hat that I got last time I was in Kicking Horse, as we said. And unless you've just joined us, this is the Kirkwood restage. We originally planned on having this event in Kirkwood, and they tried their best, but it just wasn't safe to hold a comp there. So we are restaging it here in Kicking Horse. So shout out to everybody watching in Tahoe. We love you guys, and they have an unbelievably strong freeride crew there. As we can see in Stellan, smashing his way down this top couloir.
Lining up another air here. Looks like a really solid takeoff on that feature. Kind of pointed him up almost like a slope style jump. Caught some nice landing as he lands another one and cruises his way across, already halfway down the venue.
He took that top air a little lower down, a little bit lower down than most of the riders. There's a bit of a diagonal kind of rock, and he took it a little bit lower, and it looked like his run out was a lot smoother than the rest of the riders who had been going a little bit higher.
Stellan coming into our diagonal cliff here with that higher takeoff to his feet. That was really smooth. Going to hit the brakes just a little bit to slow down for this next feature with another backflip. Following in Delilah's shoes. That was so fun to watch. Woohoo! Stellan, that was awesome. The tricks are coming out. That's so fun to watch.
Happy guy, throwing up gang signs. We don't need that, but he's a happy man.
And back up to the top, we have Selby Hall. Selby's coming to us from Aspen, Colorado, on course right now.
Look at those active, really aggressive turns.
Coming down through the truth chute. Selby's making some nice, strong turns, showing off that technique. And a slip here a little bit because it looks like she's going to line up a feature, catch a little bit of air there, nice and smooth to her feet. You know, that run out was pretty fast, Mark, so really indicates that it seems quite steep up there where she ended up landing.
And you can see the sun has moved onto a different section of this slope now. So like in Whitewater, when the sun came out in certain areas, riders started riding that zone slightly different because they're able to see the terrain differently. So I wonder how that is going to affect some of the riders here as she is continuing to link turns just above the Lime Scooter or the Town Bike exit.
The Town Bike. I like the way she lifts her knees when she jumps. She has this like unique little style to her airs that are really fun to watch. It contributes to this overall smoothness I feel in her skiing. A big smile on Selby's face. Our Colorado rider, top to the bottom. That was a fun run from Selby.
Next up for ski men out of Reno, Nevada, Palisades Tahoe rider Tyler Curl.
And Tyler had a 5th place run, I believe, at Whitewater.
Yeah, really solid run from Tyler. He is a long-time competitor on the qualifier circuit, long-time competitor on the challengers. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, he's one of those riders that has started dabbling with some judging as well. He is the true spirit of freeride. Lots of travel, lots of commitment, and lots of participation. And he's a great dude.
Loves it through and through. And in 5th place right now, that means he's currently sitting just below the cut line for the Freeride World Tour. So let's see what he has for this run here at Kicking Horse on T1 South. Looks like he maybe got a little caught up on his entrance there to that one.
Yeah, got a little bit of a funky snow in there, so he basically slowed down. He's got nice big jump turns, controlling his speed. As he hits this air, lands it, and is great. You can see how low he is. Really getting above his skis, getting his center of balance nice and low. As he cruises into the infinity, hops over the trees, he makes it work. He's like, oh no, I need to get over those. Oh, and a 360. We haven't seen a lot right there. Diagonal 360 right into that traverse, people usually just get right past it. And this is another new little funky zone. Above the Lime Scooter cliff, he hits the bike, stomps it, and rides out. Kind of a really unique way. He hadn't skied anything super out of the ordinary, but he hit them all slightly different than everybody else.
Absolutely. He took that last section almost as like a little triple. It was just kind of bam to bam to bam.
Yeah,
everyone's been clean link.
You're right. Everybody's been cutting underneath it, but he actually hit it as kind of a triple with that little spin, and then another little air, and then another little air, kind of in that fall line direction, where most people have been cutting over and traversing it kind of laterally. Interesting angle. As we were talking before, it's interesting to see how every rider sees the same terrain.
There's a lot of creativity behind freeride, and that's something that makes it so engaging to watch and progress, is that every athlete really gets to choose what they want to do. They get to make the most of the canvas in front of them and really show a unique spin and showcase their strengths as a rider. And back up here we have our start gate, freeride flag flying in the wind. Our next athlete is going to be Michaela Shea Willis.
Michaela Shea Willis used to have a lot of free riding when she was younger, and actually had a pretty bad accident. And she was healing from that for quite a while, and has just recently refound her love for freeride and is getting back into it. She's here with her coach and longtime freeride guy, Oakley White Allen. Great to see him again, and she is riding out of Park City, Utah. Here is Michaela Shea Willis, or Mickey, as she likes to be called. Cruising along this top ridge, looks like she is heading over into the dare chute. She's just above what's called Lesser's Leap right now, and she's about to drop into the fall line.
Catching some style up there on the ridgeline.
Yeah, she's bopping around on the ridge. Yeah,
I like it.
I haven't seen anybody do the hand wave like we saw in Whitewater, so I'm wondering if they're getting judged right from the very top.
You know, they might be catching some nice air there, linking it through.
Great control after that little pop in this kind of really uneven, tight couloir with the trees there. So great control on her edges.
Linking some more turns.
Working her way to the next feature.
And it looks like she's heading towards our infinity section here.
Oh, popping off on either side of that little spine on our way down into here.
Oh, fun.
Hop off the side.
It looks like her right arm got a little toss behind her, but she did such a good job pulling it back together and continuing to ski through the venue. Little pop there.
All right, linking some turns.
Making her way down. I wonder if she's going to head towards our town bike air with a backflip. Oh, and unfortunately not quite holding on.
Oh, goodness. Wow, that was impressive.
Yeah, I have to say, I did not see that coming.
Michaela going for it. We didn't see it with Delilah either.
Yeah, the ladies are throwing down today.
Maybe we should kind of put our assumptions away and expect the unexpected here.
Again, the Challenger level series, these athletes are athletes through and through. They've worked so hard. They've been working on their technique and their strength, and clearly they've been working on their tricks too. So exciting to see Michaela go for it, and it looks like she did keep both skis on, so she will receive a score, but give her a minute to collect.
And this could be a really nice time for us to take a quick break and head over to some ads.
There's nothing like the thrill of discovering a new ski spot, but you can't underestimate the challenge.
Okay, Simon, go left at the beginning, then right. Let's rip it.
That's why you need someone by your side who knows the terrain, no matter how experienced you are.
That was a good one.
Let's do it again?
Yeah.
Waiting on the edge of this moment, holding out for something golden. Found a light on a hill. I was waking up, looking for peace in a world that's divided. Gotta hold on tight when you find it. I was turning around, I was waking up. You're pulling me right in, rotate to you again. I'll live the rest of my life by your side. I wanna stay here forever, playing all night the radio. Don't see how it could be better. All I know is don't let go. Stuck in a head rush about it, worse than a fast food moving slow. I don't know how, but we found it, something supernatural. Oh, this feels like home, supernatural.
There's nothing like that click. That moment where everything just falls into place. Where movements become muscle memory. And Control feels like freedom. Every version of yourself echoing, teaching you, pushing you to that point. The moment you know you're exactly where you're meant to be.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Warner. I am with Rachel Shannon, and we are your hosts today for this second of 3 Challenger Series stops for the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series. So let's see if we can get to some of the things we wanted to talk about earlier today.
Absolutely.
Rachel?
I kind of wanted to circle back to what we had said about inspection last.
Yes, please do.
I did learn a little bit more.
So we talked about, so for those of you folks listening, we talked about this, we started to talk about this in Whitewater. And then I was asking you a little bit about this last night, and you said, hey, I'm going to get the full information that I need in order to share this with you. So I told you I didn't want to know about this, so let's go through it and tell me how inspection works.
Absolutely. So in Region 2, the TD has all of the same inspection options available for every star level from 1 to Challenger.
What is the TD?
And a technical director. And the soft inspection is where the TD picks the lanes for the athletes to ski. So they're still able to get on venue and ski the conditions. But we're going to take a break because the action never stops, and we are back up with Santiago de Pellegrini, coming into the big air.
Oh, hold on. There we go. Put the brakes on. So that air right there has proved to be quite difficult with the run out. Sweet. How can the air finding a great landing for himself?
Smooth execution there. Our Argentinian rider from Las Leñas making his way into the infinity air.
Oh, take it. Oh, goodness. Oh, it's unfortunate. Right off the top. It looks like his ski came off right upon landing.
So, unfortunately, Santiago will receive a DNF, a did not finish, and will not grab a score on this one. But again, best 2 out of 3 series. So.
All right, so this gives us an opportunity to go back to what we were talking about with the inspection. So you mentioned in Region 2, the technical director, basically the guy who runs the show.
The guy that's in charge of the safety of the athletes.
Okay.
So making sure the venue is set up correctly to be safe and skiable in the fashion that we're looking for.
Okay.
And with that, the soft inspection, the TD picks the lanes for the athlete to ski. So they're not allowed to go through the venue and go up to all their landings. The TD can say, hey, you guys can ski through this chute here or this chute here, and those are the only places you can go.
Okay,
and
interesting.
That allows the athlete to feel the conditions under their feet and know what the snow is like versus a full-on inspection where the athletes can go up to their features. They cannot hit them, but they can at least poke around their takeoffs and their landings. And at our 1 to 2 star events, the TD usually opts for a full snow inspection because the athletes are newer to reading the terrain remotely.
So that means they're allowed to basically ski their run slowly, go up to the edge of the air that they want to hit, and basically get right above it and get right into it.
Exactly. They're allowed to look at their line, but I wouldn't say they're going to ski their run. Versus at the 4-star and Challenger events, the TD is more likely to use a soft inspection because the athletes are much more experienced at reading the terrain. So these guys at this Challenger level, they've done this before. They've done this many of times, actually. And they can opt for that soft inspection to really just know what the conditions feel like and then use that inference to pick their line successfully.
Right. So basically you have a small little alley. You can get on slope, but you're not necessarily going to be on the main traveled areas of the venue. So you can get a good idea of, like you said, how the snow feels like under your skis. You can get a better idea of aspect, how steep something is, how big a cliff is, how big an air is. And that can basically really help you with your run. And interesting enough is that in Region 2, you do these on-slope soft inspections, but in Region 1, it's mostly just visual inspections, so there's a little bit of a difference.
100%. And back up, Galina Wardle on course is her first year competing in freeride. She's coming to you from Aspen, Colorado, and making her way down the ridgeline to our dare shoot.
Yeah, crossing over from Alpine Racing. So let's see, and we mentioned this before, a lot of time Alpine racers will cross over, and you can actually see those quick transfer turns. Alpine racers are really great at getting edge to edge. You can kind of see that in her skiing now, skiing really aggressively through this chute.
And she's got that really solid lacer lean, too, where you can really see the angulation in her turn and just showing off that strong technique that the judges love to see. She's making her way down. That was quite fast, I must say. It looks like she didn't bite off as big of a line score as the other athletes. Again, the more hit, but hit it with the spread eagle, grabbing some style points there, and making her way to her line shoot.
Oh, got her edge caught just before she went off the edge. Fortunately, she's no worse for wear. Back on her skis, down to the bottom. But that was a quick, fast run, really showing off her technical skill on those edges.
Yeah, really good showcase of all the alpine racing background she has and really putting that use into the freeride terrain. I've talked a lot about that blend of strong skiing, and Galina clearly has that in her skiing. And back up top, we have Jackson Bathgate on course right now.
Jackson Bathgate out of Whistler, absolutely no stranger to Kicking Horse. Coming down really hot. He was on the FWT a couple years ago.
First air under his belt on this venue.
Oh, the 360 into this zone. We haven't seen that yet. Stay on your skis. Oh, great recovery. Big turns above that cliff zone. Spinning into the pocket. Now he's heading into this infinity zone. A nice little side air. Staying on his feet. Coming out hot. Really aggressive. Wanting to put it down. Big air across the diagonal as he cruises down into this lower section. Trying to hit it as a double. And to his feet. Filled with features. We got a new trick into that center zone just below Lesser's leap. We could call it Lesser's spin after Jackson dropped in. He's going to be happy with that run.
Yeah, that was really solid. I love to see that spin up there and that higher, again, more consequential, steeper terrain. That was a really, really good showcase of what Jackson can do. Our next athlete is going to be Hannah Baldwin. Hannah is coming to you from Park City and Snowboard out of Utah. She was on the Alta Bird freeride team, now competing in the Challenger Series. And Hannah had a pretty good result on the last event, if I do say it, Whitewater, winning the Whitewater stop first event of the Challenger Series. So Hannah's sitting in a pretty good spot right now for the overall ranking.
No, absolutely. So as we said, best 2 out of 3. Well, she's already got one of those 2 because you can't get any better than top spot. So if she puts this down the way she wants, she could be looking really good for that third and final event.
And starting off hot, powerful energy out of the gate. She lines up exactly where she wants to be.
Navigating this top section, as you can see, it's quite steep. A fun little air, a great right onto her edge, carving right into this next section. So super smooth transition.
Catching some techie skiing up here through this upper middle section of the venue.
And now rolling through the left dare chute, just above the infinity cliff. Oh, going for the grab, getting a nice amplitude off the top of there.
Yeah, and really tweaked it out too. It's so fun to see the skiers not just grab, but do it with some tweak. She grabs another pop there. And Hannah's making her way to our diagonal cliff, it looks like. Definitely more sharky, but not phasing Hannah. She puts that to her feet.
Yeah, getting off there with a little bit of speed too, which is nice to see. Great control on her landing. And then boosts off the town bike, making her way to the bottom. She's going to be happy with that one for sure. That's 2 solid runs in a row from Hannah Baldwin.
So clean. She's just such a clean and smooth skier. That was really fun to watch, Hannah. She's certainly someone to keep an eye on throughout this series. And getting all the hugs at the bottom.
I think she's pretty cool.
Big smile on her face. She seems pumped.
All right.
All right, next up in the gate, we have our top scorer from last week, Kai Morgan.
He's getting ready to drop.
Bib number 36 in your programs. Kai Morgan taking the top step of the podium eventually last week in Whitewater. Working down along this right side of the lingering fingers. Nice control through this section. We saw a lot of people hit that cliff behind him and have a lot of trouble in this area. Not for him as he airs off the side.
That was really cool, too. It looks like he was almost a little unbalanced on the takeoff, but brought it back together so quick to get the grab and lining up to the infinity air here.
Right off the nose, going for that transition. Perfect landing.
Whoa,
going for
that
the
wind lip.
going for this spin.
And coming into our last air, the town bike.
Just taking it straight, right down to the bottom.
And that mid wind lip that he did that spin on is really interesting too, because you really can't see it from either the screen or just by looking at the venue. So it's really cool to see that, there is quite a bit of air you can catch off that, and clearly enough to spin it and do a trick. So exciting to see that, the athlete's perspective is quite different from what we're seeing, whether you're here at Kicking Horse or watching from home. It's exciting to see their spin. But back up to the top, Kestrel Sullivan on course.
Kestrel Sullivan is sitting in second place. Second spot in Whitewater last week. Had a really, really solid run. Ended up riding through a chute really smoothly that a lot of people had trouble on. As she's having a little bit of a struggle right through there, putting on the brakes just above this top cliff. And hitting it big. Oh, a little too much for her to handle. Unfortunately, ski popped off there. Head tap, she's doing all right, but probably a little frustrated with that. Fortunately, she already has a podium spot. She's in second overall, so this is going to be her throwaway.
Absolutely. I'm sure she's going to take a minute to collect herself.
Shake the snow out of her back there. Figure out what the heck just happened. And hopefully she might be able to hike up and get that ski. Maybe someone will go down and get it for her. Now it looks like she's going to get it.
Luckily, it's not too far from her, and yeah, what a bummer. Kestrel really is one of my favorite skiers to watch. She's such clean air awareness. I mentioned last time that, she has really solid tricks under her belt, and really important for the riders to decide, when is the time to showcase what they've been working on, when is the time to scale it back. There is quite a bit of strategy that goes into it, so I'm sure Kestrel's going to, keep some tricks up her sleeve for us. She's definitely a name to keep an eye on because she is quite the force to be reckoned with.
All right, folks. Well, she is getting her ski on. We are going to go and say hello to some of our partners. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have
Townsend Reed on course right now. Grabbing his first air in the dare shoot.
Oh, spinning into the pocket.
The one we saw Jackson spin off of, and that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Monkey see, monkey do, right? Lesser's leap, spin right into that chute. He's got some heat coming into this infinity zone. Nice, comfortable air from him through there.
blasting through the chute, and I'm assuming he's gonna start cutting over. He's gonna hit this same as Jackson did. Oh no, he didn't hit it as the double. He's going straight down, and what's gonna happen here? Oh, nice cork 3. Oh no!
Unfortunately, getting a little
Got
caught up in his
Caught
run out.
on the run out.
Yeah, shaking it off at the bottom. That was quite the fast run, I must say.
All right, next up we got Hannah Melanchuk, who's currently sitting in 5th place.
Hannah, our Canadian rider, making her way up along the ridgeline and coming into left side dare. Catching her first air in the chute, and looks like she's lining something else up here. Big bite.
Oh, awesome. So we just saw Jackson, we just saw Reed, or Townsend, spinning into that zone, and she decided to just do a techie ski line into it. Really cool.
And she's coming into infinity right now, catching a little air, and that is really one of Hannah's strengths, is techie riding. She has such a beautiful lean to her skiing, really able to navigate that steep techie stuff, and she really showed that off. Caught another bite there. Hannah's really playing to her strengths right now in her skiing, coming into the diagonal air.
Yeah, nice landing. Hit it perfectly. Heading over into this lower section here and slowing herself up, so just dripping off of the bike there. The TB.
The town bike. That was really solid skiing out of Hannah. I really like the way she took that upper section of the course. I don't think we've seen any ski women come through that air up there. So
No, I think she opened that up for that category, absolutely.
So yeah, Hannah really, again, playing to her strengths. I really see Hannah as this deep technical rider, and I think she did a really good job of showcasing that today in her line. That was really fun to watch. Big kudos to Hannah. Our next athlete is going to be Ben Leifer from Alta, Utah. Originally on the Whistler Freeride Club and Winter Park Big Mountain team.
Currently in Alta, Utah, yeah. Here we go. Ben Leifer. Is that him with his hands in the air getting ready to drop, or is that just someone trying to stay warm and get a little stretch at the top of the ridge there?
Yeah, it definitely looks a little windy at the top, so I'm sure all the athletes have different methods to keep themselves warm. They did also come up from a hike up to T1. It was about a 10 to 20 minute hike, we were told, so a little bit of a stomp to get all the way to our peak up here.
They do have to sit up there for quite a while. A lot of the times, if you are lower in the drop order, you got to hang out on that ridge for a while, and it can be cold, it can be windy, it can be really, really uncomfortable in the elements while you're waiting for your run, doing your best to stay loose, doing your best to stay warm, and also focused while battling the elements, just standing on the ridge there.
As if freeriding wasn't hard enough.
Yeah.
And here comes Ben making his way along the ridge line.
Looks like he's heading up over into that, just above that Lesser's Leap zone that we just saw Townsend and Jackson spin into, but he's actually approaching it a little bit different.
Coming heading.
This is a very different ride with a
stuff.
super massive air.
Wow.
Oh, what a landing! He found a perfect landing spot, holding onto his air, airing off the top of spine of that infinity cliff, and
then just casually got a straight line to the bottom. Oh!
He just told his friends, I'll race you to the bottom. Last one down buys dinner. Holy cow, what a line from Ben Leifer.
Missed the finish corral there too. Really had to slam on the brakes to make sure he goes through the corral. If an athlete does not go through the corral, they get a disqualification. So
Hey, well, he doesn't have to worry about that. Biggest air of the day, the absolute gnarliest spot to land.
that was the biggest air of the day.
That was insane.
Yeah, that was wild.
Trying to control his speed down to that bottom chute and then hitting that wind lip just above the infinity cliff, launching into that bottom right dare chute, and then sending it full speed, holding on for dear life.
And Marika Hansen on course right now. They have dropped into the truth chute. making some nice turns as they head into their first air, catching a nice bop off that, and making their way through the truth chute. Showing off nice, powerful turns. And heading into the infinity air. Quick run for Marika here, halfway through the venue, bopping off the side of the infinity air.
Making her way. So as you can see, the sun has really started hitting this slope. Hey, it's gone up higher in the sky, and a lot of these chutes that we saw in the shade when the comp started are really coming out. And now you're able to see the real big definition as she hits a little pop before she gets into the lime scooter and starts arcing her way back down to the finish. So this is really, I think, going to change how the riders see this slope.
A really awesome run out of Marika. I really enjoy the turn quality that Marika delivers. They have this really aggressive angle to their turn, and it's always really fun to watch. So, big fan of Marika. That was a solid, successful line they just put down.
They definitely are going to be happy with that run as they just gave themselves a fist bump.
Woohoo!
Marika Hansen out of Jackson, Wyoming. Actually, originally from Jackson, Wyoming, but now residing in the Bend River, Oregon area.
And up on course, we have Lewis Overington.
Lewis Overington from Bridger Bowl. MSU Freeride likes punk rock. So do I. Freeride is kind of punk rock, isn't it?
Freeride, I would say so, you know.
Like, who would actively go and do gnarly things like this if they weren't, really?
If they really, yeah. Got to be a little punk rock to be a free rider.
I think so.
All right, we have Lewis on course right now. First turn on the venue. Heading into the lingering fingers area with a 360.
Oh, spinning into this little
air.
zone and really controlling his landing. We've seen a lot of people having troubles on that landing spot. As he's coming into this next section, bigging air, stopping it. What a great start to his run. Great speed control as he heads into this lower section. The infinity cliff, spinning into the chute. Hold on, hold on. Oh, he got away from him a little bit. Looks like he put his hip down to slow him down.
Little bit of a washout.
Kept the skis on. What's he going to do on this bottom feature? Backflip. Stomp. Nice run from Lewis Overington. Two big 360s, one in consequential terrain, a big air, another 360, a little bit of a bobble, trying to hold on, control his speed. I think he put his hip down, but then follows it up with a backflip. I would say that's still a pretty high score based on what he's achieved. Really interesting to see how the judges score that. And we're rolling in fast with Abril Bertsky on course.
Abril catching the corner of that top air in the lingering fingers section, making her way. Our Argentinian rider, from Argentina. It looks like she's skiing out of Spain right now, so no stranger to the steeps. Abril lining up something here, getting just a second to line herself up and to her feet as she makes her way back across, and looks like she might be heading towards the infinity zone.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we've got a big cloud that's kind of obscured the sun. So the light play is really interesting today based on each rider. I'd like to hear how it affected their run. So now it might be a little more flat because it's obscured. The sun's obscured by clouds, whereas only a few minutes ago you could really see every little bump and ridge on that slope.
And Abril's making her way to our last feature of the venue. Gonna hit the town bike, catch a pop, and smooth to her feet as she makes her way to the corral.
Oh no! She got caught down at the bottom there. Not the only rider that's got caught up just before the corral. Oh, that's unfortunate for Abril.
I know. Such a bummer when those snow snakes really hide and then just come and grab you last minute.
Oh, and did she lose the ski? Yep, she lost the ski too. Oh, that's unfortunate.
But luckily it's not too far from her, so she's able to retrieve it quickly. But yeah, what a bummer to have a solid, clean run like that and just some unfortunate circumstances at the bottom. I think definitely one of the more challenging things in freeride is, again, that uncontrolled conditions. Is it's not like skiing in a terrain park where everything's groomed. You don't have to worry about a branch or a rock hiding right underneath the snow surface. But that is something that is always to be considered at freeride, is you don't quite know what's lurking underneath it, especially because we got a little bit of a top-up last night. So Brielle has both skis on. Into the corral she goes. Seems a little bummed, but honestly, kind of shorts it off her shoulders a little bit. It's freeride. That happens.
It's freeride. Head Athlete, one of the sponsors of this competition. You can see my skis just behind us. Little product placement. We got a lot of great partners here for the IFSA Challenger Series. Head skis is Tyrolia Bindings is one of them. We've also got 3M.
3M Thin Slate and 3M Scotchgard.
Absolutely. We have Helly Hansen.
And Giro.
Mm-hmm.
And Pock. Can't forget about Pock, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Our next athlete is going to be Hayes Livernoise, coming to you from Big Sky, Montana. Grew up on the Big Sky freeride team and is now an independent. And just got word that Panel A is ready for Hayes.
Dropping. And here's the sun again. So we're going to get a lot of this in and out today. Just these. It's not an overly cloudy day, but a lot of convective clouds just above the mountains here, moving in and out as you get. So we'll see how they affect each rider's rounds. We'll have to have some conversations at the end of the day.
Hayes caught a
as he
quick
spins into this zone. Oh, hold on. Having a little trouble, but really pulling it out of the bag. As he cruises into the Affinity Cliff. Another spin. Did he just spin both ways?
You know, I know that one was a left side three, but I didn't quite catch the direction of his first one. So gonna have to keep on our toes for that. And Hayes is coming into our diagonal cliff here.
Oh, really well done. Perfect execution into that section.
Really fun turn out of it, too. Really smooth. Coming in another left side three there, off our town bike. Everyone gets a ride.
Everybody gets a ride. All right, well that was an adventurous run. 360s, a little trouble off the first one underneath Lester's Leap there, but continuing on with his run, finished strong, which will help boost his score back up after that little bit of a deduction, which he'll most likely get.
Absolutely. And our next athlete is Britta Winans, coming to you from Tahoe. Dropping right into the lingering fingers and is getting ready to bite off a chunk of this venue.
Britta and her sister Mia, big personalities and big riders representing the Tahoe region.
Catching some air there to her feet. It looks like she's going to come back over here and bite off another chunk.
We haven't seen a lot of riders hit that center zone that she just hit as well. We can actually see the definition of it in the sunlight now a little bit more than we were earlier in the day.
Coming into our infinity zone. Catching that right side.
Great speed control.
Lining up for our diagonal cliff.
Having a look. Creeping in.
And
Put it right to bolts.
Taking the high side of it, too. We haven't seen as many women go for that higher entrance.
But it looks like it may have cost her in order to get to that lower feature. She came out of there a little hot, and looks like she tried to cruise around and catch that lower feature, but it just got away from her.
Couldn't quite shut the speed down to loop it back to her right. You're right, Mark. But still, solid execution on her last feature. It was really smooth and really fun to watch. Congrats to Britta on a clean, successful run.
All right, next up we got Sam Westgate, or Westy as he likes to be called, originally from Sheffield, UK, and he rides for Revelstoke Mountain Resort, which I like to call West Golden.
And, you know, Sam, at our last stop in Whitewater, had an unfortunate landing to a backflip he went for, but So he didn't quite put the run he was hoping to in his feet in whitewater, but Sam has so many tricks up his sleeve. I love watching him ski. He's also just such a fun guy, super positive and fun to be around. He was down competing in Chile and Argentina this year as well. Had some really solid results down here that helped him make his way to the Challenger Series. And that's also something that our 2026 season starts the summer of 2025. So athletes can go down, build up points in South America that contribute to them getting into the Challenger Series this year.
Oh, that's interesting.
And Sam is on course. So excited to see what he has as he drops into lingering fingers. Lining up his first air off the top corner there.
Working his way into this next big air. Well done. Perfectly. Just went a little bit off the side and then landed it perfect. Great speed control as he's rolling back through the sun just off the side of this infinity cliff. A little shifty. Keeping on his feet. As you can see right there on that angle, how really uneven that exit chute is. And we've seen it gobble a few people up. Big floaty backflip. Oh, just gets bucked a little bit. That was the biggest we've seen off of that so far today.
Oh, yeah, he really went for it. Still getting the hug at the bottom. Really smooth top section, too, out of Sam. He had that little, like, almost tweaked shifty style off pretty much all of his airs, too, just really showing the confidence he has in the air and that air awareness. And back up to the top without blinking, Harriet Lucas is on course.
Silhouetted, on screen, bombing down.
Harriet making her way through some techie rocks up top.
Go around. Those ones? Leave those.
And skiing through the truth chute. Harriet's one of my
don't worry
favorite skiers to watch. Maybe I'm a little biased.
Okay.
I love watching all the ski girlies, but here she goes. Coming into the far skiers left and then going to make her way back across to the middle of the truth chute and line up our infinity air, it looks like.
That seems to be the go-to.
Catching the corner with a little shifty there.
We started calling it the Infinity Air because there's lots of different options off of it, but it also seems like Infinity riders are hitting that today.
As soon as we started calling it the Infinity Air, we started seeing more of the same takeoff.
Yeah, we did, right?
Here comes Harriet into our diagonal cliff.
Nice little diagonal landing. Good control out. See, another one, too, is a little bit fast out of there and having troubles turning it back, but she managed to slam on the brakes, get on her edge, and get right back for that last air off the little town bike was what we're calling it. Everybody gets a ride. So, yeah, good control to get back to that next feature. We've seen a few people get a little bit too hot off that diagonal and miss that lower feature altogether. So that kind of is a really great way of like separating.
Absolutely. Harriet, yeah, took off some really nice chunks of the venue here on T1 South. And our next rider is going to be Asher Maxwell. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is an outdated list, actually. Asher, unfortunately, sustained a concussion and will not be competing today.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Hopefully everything's all right with you, Asher. We'll miss you, and we'll hopefully catch you sooner than later.
Yep, sending you all the healing vibes, Asher. And we are going to wait until we hear exactly where our panel will go from here. And Harriet was our 68th athlete to drop today. And so out of 80 athletes, that means, you know, we're almost all the way through our competition today.
Yeah, they've been, this dual panel judging system really, really works for efficiency.
It is, I'd say, maximum efficiency in free ride. And our next athlete is Kane Gascoigne.
Kane currently sitting in 4th place, the last rider above the qualification line. Coming in off the top here.
Into lingering fingers air. Catching the same bite that Sam just took. And making it to his feet, and he is still on the move.
Really solid on his feet through there. Great control as he lines up this little section. You know he's going to do something here. Nice big straight air, going for the grab.
ended up a little bit on his heels, but still bounced back super fast and is on the move to infinity air.
Nice and aggressive, popping into this chute there, finding that nice transition. As you can see how rough that chute is. Popping over into the next zone, almost popping right to the diagonal.
Yeah, really clean transition into that air
And then
clean transition
And then
out.
dropping into it rather than hanging hot because he knows he needs to get around in order to throw the backflip to his feet and manages to pull it off. So as soon as you get that big backflip in that exact spot, you got to crank a hard left turn in order to make it back to the corral. So that was really, really smart riding, taking it slow and dripping off the diagonal so he can get right around to the town bike and get inverted.
You know, I think those were some of my favorite transitions that we've seen today from feature to feature. He really had a good link between features and solid fluidity there. So
yeah, he did link the features really nicely. So on course next, we got Chloe Hayer, former FWT rider out of Telluride, Colorado.
Coming into our lingering fingers air.
Making sure she's got her right line, and she knows what the run out is going to be. Holding on to her speed there, slowing down just in the right amount of time. I wonder if she had to throw on the brakes and then lost the amount of speed that she needed to get over this section. So a little bit of self-preservation. This is not the spot you really want to be stuck above, but great job for her for being able to close it down.
Yeah, it looked like she almost got bounced up onto that top of the feature and then wasn't quite at the right spot she wanted for her takeoff. So really smart decision making out of Chloe, keeping it safe and controlled, and then taking some air off of our infinity zone, far skiers right.
Yeah, and then that's exactly the same spot that Kayla Constantini ended up having her crash on. So glad to see that she was able to shut it down. Oh, and another little kind of angle off of the diagonal, so she can get over here to the bottom feature. Oh, and right off the side. So a little bit of trouble with her fluidity here today. Managed to keep her skis on. Might be a little frustrated with that run, but I liked the idea. You know, she went at it aggressively.
She did. I feel like she really came in with a plan, and even though it wasn't quite as executed as she had hoped, it shows the quick reaction time these athletes really need to have on their feet of, you know, wow, this isn't going how I want. I need to make a decision right now to make sure that I can still get to the bottom in one piece.
And having the ability to do that when you're in a competition and you know, hey, I need to put this run down, being able to know, hey, I have to shut this down, even though it is going to affect your run, but it's going to basically be more of a self-preservation method. It's just smart skiing, because that's really the most important thing. We want everybody to put on a show, but everybody needs to get down safe and sound so that they can compete another day.
Live to ski another day is how it goes.
So we are on the last page here, Rachel. We've got, looks like, 8 riders left today?
Just about. And Chloe was also our final ski woman, so we are now fully back to Panel A, which means that we're just going to see the rest of our ski men finish out this competition.
Okay, we got Nathan Pruzin, who is currently sitting in second place, who had a fantastic run in Whitewater. As he's dropping in right off the top start gate, cruising in above the lingering fingers.
Making quick use of that top section. And coming in to grab another bite here.
Oh, big air, a little bit in the back seat, wheeling out, holding on. Oh, great control. Way to shut that speed down. Spinning into the chute. It's like a cheese grater in there. It's so uneven.
It really is. You can see on the screen how bumpy that run out looks. But Nathan's wasting no time as he makes his way to the diagonal cliff and looks like he is not done yet. Gonna lift it up with the backflip to the town bike.
Great. That's 2 really, really great runs from Nathan. This one was a little bit more rowdy than I think his first one, but that's just the slope. The higher speed you get, it is such an uneven run at the moment. Like I said, it kind of looks like a cheese grater. So many bumps and ridges. In the sun you can see it, but when the cloud comes over, it's a little bit more flat light. So kudos to Nathan for holding on and putting down a really exciting run for us to watch.
All right. And so this means now we have a minute while the judges are going to score Nathan. Again, we're done with our dual panel, so we will continue with our ski men. And we've seen quite a lot of action today. We've seen back flips, front flips, a lot of different spins.
We saw a little flat spin down at the bottom, which I called a cork 3. It's kind of the same thing. But yeah, it was and some that we didn't expect. You know, Delilah's huge backflip at the bottom after a run where she kind of lulled us into this nice, comfortable place, and then boom, hucked that big backflip. So we've seen some really, really exciting events today. These riders are putting on a show for us.
They really are, and I think the conditions here are a little more forgiving to them to show off what they can do, versus we saw at Whitewater that the conditions were a little more challenging, and that means the athletes really have to tailor their skiing to do what the mountain is going to allow them to do. So we've seen a lot of really solid decision making out of these two events so far.
Absolutely. And two very different venues as well. The Whitewater venue under Weimer Peak was huge. We had the first top section with 2 or 3 features, and then a big kind of traverse middle section where the riders had to take their time a little bit, get across down to the lower area, and then there was a handful of ways that they could go through there. And I loved that event because there were so many different routes. Didn't funnel everybody into one spot. And we're actually seeing a lot of really nice creativity here on T1 North at Kicking Horse.
And this is the second stop of our Challenger Series, 2 out of 3, and our third stop is actually going to be tomorrow here at Kicking Horse as well. They have not picked their venue out, certainly, for tomorrow's event, but I'm
not
sure,
defined, yeah.
Yeah, but not defined, but I'm sure we'll hear about it soon, and we'll be back tomorrow for some more exciting skiing. But
exactly. So we have the technical director and his team are actually all over the mountain today, just kind of see what the weather's doing, how it's affecting the snow. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we are at the end of March. It's almost the beginning of April. The sun's rays are a lot stronger. So even though it's like minus 10 outside, the sun is picking up that solar radiation, and it's actually creating a little bit of a melt freeze. So they're all over the hill today. They're checking the surfaces on the other 2 venues that we're potentially going to run. T1 South, so just on the other side of the venue that we're at now, or the famous O-Zone, which is the primary venue for the Freeride World Tour, which was here from 2018 all the way to last year, 2025. And they actually did a Freeride World Tour event on this face we're watching right now, which was also a restage, the Hakuba restage in 2018.
getting ready for Orion Charity to drop in next. And here he comes on the ridgeline, making his way across. And I just got word that he's on telly skis.
Yeah, Ryan Cherney is a telly skier. So let's see if he's going to pop into this zone here. He is. He's going straight for it. Fall line. Wow.
Some speed,
and then really taking his time, cutting across. Whoa, hit a backflip to his feet. And he's coming into the infinity cliff, taking his time. Holy smokes. And he's on tellies.
And he's on tellies. That was a really stacked line to go from that steep top air to then did a good job using the traverse to control his speed to be able to get the backflip.
Absolutely.
Really
as he cruises into the town bike with another backflip, puts it down to his feet. What an amazing run. I wonder if he gets a higher difficulty score because he's on telemark skis. That is really, really impressive. And well done. And he knows it too.
I'm sure the judges are going to factor that into his rider level and style. I'd say the telemark skiing definitely goes into the style choice that he has there. But yeah, 2 backflips with a big air at the top. That was a really solid run.
And the crew at the bottom definitely know it. Looking up, admiring his work. Well done, Orion Cherney.
That was super fun to watch. Taking some deep breaths at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, we love to see it.
So we're going to pop over to a quick ad to say thank you to some of our sponsors as Ryan wants to give everyone a big hug. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have 6 riders to go. Next up is Holden Way, riding out of Victor, Idaho, and Grand Targhee Resort, just over the pass from Jackson Hole. Holden Way is next to drop in, as we're looking at that free ride flag. We've definitely planted the free ride flag here in Eastern British Columbia this week. Whitewater Nelson last week was absolutely fantastic. They were wonderful hosts. The mountain is great. Love the town. And now we're here in Golden for 2 events this week. Tourism Golden and Kicking Horse Mountain Resort have always been extremely gracious, very, very generous, accommodating, and so helpful. We're so happy to be here. They are true free ride allies. So many events have been held here, from the Free Ride World Tour all the way down to One Stars. As I said, they've got a long legacy, starting off with Wrangle the Chute from back in the day. As we got Holden Way dropping in.
And Holden is on course, making his way into the Lingering Fingers air, catching a corner of that top cliff.
And picking his way down this little section, looking for his exit. And there it is. Big air, great landing. Good control as he heads into the infinity.
His athletes are making such quick use of this venue, too. It's a blink, blink all the way at infinity. And now looks like he's making his way down.
Skipping the diagonal.
Yep, skipping the
diagonal.
diagonal.
Little shifty, going straight for this bottom air. Back flip. Oh, just a little bit tough on that landing. And this is what I was talking about before. The last few riders who have hit that backflip in that exact same spot had the sun directly shining on their landing, whereas now the cloud has made it a little bit more flat. So I wonder if that came into play here with Holden. He got around, not a problem, but maybe that landing came up on him a little quicker than he was able to tell just by that flat light.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like he was a little too far back, and then the back of his skis really just slid out from under him. So unfortunately not quite holding on how he wanted to, but I think you're right, Mark, that the difference in the light comes into play when these athletes are going for tricks, especially tricks with an inversion.
Yeah. Being able to see your landing is key, but he seems like he's still in a pretty good mood. Big smile on his face.
It's, again, such an accomplishment for the athletes to get to this level. They've worked all season to get here, really hard at the competitions, or showing off what they needed to get a wild card spot, so it's not an easy level of competition that these athletes have entered in.
No, this is to be crowned champion of the Americas, of this whole second region. Stretching from Patagonia all the way to Alaska. That's a long way.
That is a long way.
There's a lot of resorts within there, and there's a lot of free ride clubs and a lot of free ride kids and people that really want to get into this sport. So this is no small feat, making it to this point.
Absolutely. The IFSA runs over 180 events a year, and we have over 7,000 members in our series this year. So definitely seen some growth between this year and last year as well. So exciting things we've seen not only at this series but all year long with the IFSA. We're so thankful for all of the people that make it possible, the Kicking Horse team, and then everyone that just makes the events happen.
Okay, so it looks like we got our next rider is ready to drop. As we mentioned, it's a dual panel, but now we're down to our final category. So it's just one set of judges, so there's a little bit more time in between riders. We have 5 left to go. This is Skylar Koff. You can call him Sky. As he's dropping in from the start gate.
Into the Lingering Fingers area, he's going to bite off that top section.
The nice little pop. Great control into this next bit. And there's a huge, huge exposure underneath them.
Very high consequence area as he gets ready to line up another air.
Ooh, slight little bobble, but right back onto his skis. Great recovery. I guess it wasn't really a recovery. It wasn't just a little bit of a ski out of place.
Not there, though. Slapping into the center on his skis. Another little air with the shifty grab. And what do we have here at the bottom? Great straight air. Good stomp. See, I was wondering right there, it looked like he might have been setting up for a backflip, but maybe realized, hey, the light's a bit flat. Let's see if we can just put it down to our feet because I need to get a run in. Right?
Absolutely.
Right? There's a couple trains of thought here. I'm going to go for it, or I want to get a score. If I'm even slightly a bit hesitant that I'm not going to be able to land a trick, maybe it's wise to just get through it, right? And a lot of these riders have to make these super split-second decisions.
And that's hard, too, when you've really planned a line that you're committed to and something you really want to ski, and then last minute you have to change due to the conditions, the sun, something else being in your way that you weren't exactly expecting. So it shows a lot of mental concentration also to be able to make those split decisions.
And you got to be accepting of being able to make those decisions. Sometimes you have it in your head, I'm doing this, I'm going to do this, I am doing this. You drop in and you're like, I'm going to do this. Like, I think potentially that's what Delilah was thinking. She had all those nice little airs and then hit the backflip at the bottom. But what happens if she gets to the bottom and she can't see that landing? Are you able to say, oh, no, I'm actually not doing this? So it's just a matter of what you're able to do and how, I guess, committed you are to this thing you've been thinking about all this time, and you've been prepping yourself and you've been planning and preparing and thinking and studying, and all of a sudden you have to pull the chute and not do it. That's got to be tough as well, especially when you have to make it in that split-second decision. So as we wait for our next riders, we are going to pop away and we'll be back with you in just a moment. The canopy would be helpful.
All right, we have Leif Gascoigne on course. Canadian rider coming to you from Whistler.
Brother of Kane Gascoigne, who is currently sitting in fourth place, who we watched drop in just a few moments ago with a great little air off that top feature. As you can see, the wind is really starting to pick up.
Catching some air to his feet there. Really has to shut it down. Navigating around that tree. Quick on his feet as he comes into the infinity zone with a backflip to his feet.
Backflip into the cheese grater. That top air, we've seen a lot of riders hit it exactly that way, and I find that the skis are really getting away from them, so they've had to take a lot of strength to get them out self underneath, and then boom, another backflip, just a little over-rotated.
Unfortunately, not quite the landing he was expecting there. But again, I wonder if that light is really coming into play right now as the clouds cover the sun that we've been seeing all day.
Especially at the top when you're dropping in and the snow gets whipped up and is obscuring your view. So unfortunate end for Leif Gascoigne for this run, but definitely did not hold back.
And first backflip too, that landing was so clean. It was so fun to watch him just absolutely shoot out of that with the speed and then be able to control it and line up for the next one. So we only have 3 riders left after Leif. Getting the hugs at the bottom, all the support and love from his friends. And you can see the wind picking up there with the flares, but conditions really held up nice and strong for us today.
Exactly. We've got 3 more riders. Like you said, looks like the clouds are starting to build a little bit. I can see maybe a little snowfall or precipitation off into the distance. Wind's picking up, but it looks like we are going to be able to finish here. I hope I didn't jinx it. We got 3 more riders. The sun is still trying to pop through. It's been a pretty great day of free ride here at Kicking Horse so far. This Kirkwood Restage event, the second of 3 Challenger Series events for Region 2, the Americas. And our next rider is from South America, Dante Ginaka.
Yep, coming to you from Patagonia, Cerro Bio, an Argentinian rider up in the start gate, getting ready to drop in. Dante is such a strong rider. It's always fun to watch him ski. Really powerful turns, powerful airs behind him.
So the judges are just taking a little bit of time, I believe, to get set up and ready for Dante. As we mentioned, if you're wondering why it's taking a little bit longer in between riders now than it was earlier on, it's because we were doing what is called a double panel. Rachel explained it extremely well for us earlier in the event. And basically there are 2 sets of judges judging 2 different categories, so they can jump back and forth and jump back and forth as quick as they can. And we are ready for Dante Ginaka
On course, coming into the lingering finger section. Catching a strong corner of that top air and coming in nice and controlled.
See right there, that wind is getting him, so he may have to slow down a little bit as he was getting kind of white-roomed unintentionally. And that, oh goodness, yeah, okay, way to get back to your feet. So that landing, we've seen the last 3 ski men hit that spot, and as soon as they landed, their skis have kind of shot out from underneath them. A little bit of a backslap, but he makes up for it with a nice 360 into that cheese grater style shoot, throwing on the brakes in order to get across to the diagonal here.
Taking that higher entrance that we saw and putting it to his feet and controlling the speed out so that way he can make it to the town bike, left side 360 to his feet.
Stomped it perfectly. Well done.
Strong skiing out of Dante, getting the hugs from the homies. He just had that one little bobble coming out of that midsection there. But really strong, clean execution. His spins were so solid in the air. I love seeing that lead arm stay open through a 360. That's one of my favorite things that indicates that control and strength through a spin.
All right, we have 2 more riders, and that means that David Peatfield, our event wildcard,
is our penultimate.
Absolutely.
Oh, I was working so hard on making sure I got my new favorite vocabulary word that I learned from Mark at our last event. It means our second to last.
Yep, penultimate rider of the day, David Peatfield. He is an event wildcard. Riding out of Whistler, BC, and the Whistler Free Ride Club, Sea to Sky local. Shout out to all my friends and all of my coaches and kids over at the Whistler Free Ride Club. Hope you're enjoying the show today. I'm having a good time with my co-host, Rachel Shannon.
It's been a great day to watch some skiing and riding, if I do say so. Great day to sit back and be impressed.
Absolutely. The weather has been cooperating. The team here at Kicking Horse has done an absolutely spectacular job, and so has the IFSA crew. I came into the, crew this week. You've welcomed me into the crew this week for this Challenger event series to do the broadcast, and I am amazed at how everyone does their job so well, but also does a lot of other jobs. Everybody here has several tasks and several things that they have to do on top of their own job description. It is truly a community feel. Everybody picks up and chips in where they need to. That's really, really cool, and that's just an extension of what freeride really is.
It's definitely a team effort that we have here at the IFSA because we're not only here in Kicking Horse for our last 2 stops of Challenger Series, but pretty much right after that we roll into our junior freeride championship, which is essentially the same thing but for our juniors. And it's actually the largest junior freeride event in the world. So we have almost 300 athletes coming to compete. And same thing, we'll be running dual panel, but their setup is a little different. We'll have 2 qualifying days, and then the top half of each field will move to finals. So
you're not necessarily running 300 riders in one day.
Exactly, but
Goodness.
It's exciting to see, just the continuation of the events that we have, and freeride never stops. So
Right
here
on.
we go, back up top, David Peatfield dropping in.
Just as the sun is coming right out. Let's hope it stays out for these last 2 riders. Oh, nice little kind of shifty airplane move off that top. Coming down this little ridge. Wow, you can see how windy it's really getting up there. Looks pretty cool for the view. Big air. Oh, and he manages to stomp it. The last 3 riders we've seen hit it from that zone. He just manages to avoid that tree. Got a little bit of back seat, so great control from him. Backflip right into this chute. That's been giving a lot of people trouble. He's looking really, really comfortable on his skis.
Absolutely so balanced and so clean as he comes into the diagonal, navigating through the sharks like they weren't even there.
Nice tight turn. And just takes it smart off the town bike. Right into the bottom. Well done. That's a really great run from David Peatfield. He's going to be happy with that. Great control on his skis.
Really fast, clean skiing, too. So fun to watch the athletes just really top to bottom, no brakes, all gas, going to give it all they got.
The Whistler Freeride coach has got to be happy with his performance on there. The control. All right, so while they judge this last run, we're going to take a quick little break before we head to our last rider of the day.
There's nothing like the thrill of discovering a new ski spot, but you can't underestimate the challenge.
Okay, Simon, go left at the beginning, then right. Let's rip it.
That's why you need someone by your side who knows the terrain, no matter how experienced you are.
That was a good one.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to our final rider of the day, Sebastian Nava, or Sebi, from just over the Rogers Pass in Revelstoke. It's been a fantastic day, and I hope that he puts it down and puts an exclamation point on a really, really fun competition.
Absolutely. Always fun to see, last rider of the day. They've been waiting all day to ski their line, and just excited to see the amplitude that's going to happen. And Sebastian
right.
Nava is on course.
Here he goes. So unlike the last several riders, he's making his way a little bit farther over, possibly to the Lesser's Leap zone. Actually, he's kind of cruising into a different area, getting right into the thick of it. Kind of into a little Billy Goat zone, it looks like. This is a brand new line, 80 riders, and he hits it as a double and laces the exit. Wow! High consequence, high reward. Throwing down the hip just to get your speed under control. Airs off the infinity, hits that little spine, and comes in with heat right into it and sends the town bike to his feet. I think we have a new fastest run. Holy cow, what a line.
That was almost similar to what Ben Leifer did. different approach and takeoff, but similar to that one section of the venue where they just bit off the whole chunk and then it was almost a straight line competition to the bottom.
Holding on for dear life. But that's wild. We just watched 80 riders that competed on this face, and we just saw a brand new line. And obviously that's going to stay in your minds. Out of a big group, what is going to stay in your mind the most? Standouts, the first and the last, right?
And we were talking about, closing out with our last athlete putting on a show, and, to take something unique like that and really bite off a new chunk that we haven't seen yet certainly puts a good wrap on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. As the wind's picking up a little bit here at Kicking Horse, I think we timed it absolutely perfect. Want to give some thanks to some of our sponsors, Haley Hansen, as well as Head Tyrolia,
as well as 3M Thinsulate and 3M Scotchgard, POC, and Giro.
And some other fun partners as well: BCA, GoPro, Flylo, Nordica, Marker Del Bello, and Vocal, as well as Reflex, Strafe, K2, Blizzard Technica, Daymaker, and David Protein Bars. Also to our media partner, thanks to freeskier.com for hosting the live stream today, the Free Ride Guide podcast, which talks about free ride a little bit more than just the events. And of course, POW Hub. Go check on Instagram and get a lot of the clips. And we want to give a nice staff acknowledgement for the IFSA. I want to thank my partner, Rachel Shannon, who is also the Education System Manager and host. Focho Ochagavia, IFSA Brand Manager, and I call him not the Swiss Army knife, the Chilean Army knife, because he does a little bit of everything. Brian Cole, Director of Operations. Finn and Lund, Production Manager. He has been in our ear the whole time, and he's been running this whole show. We've got Evan Gray, our Community Manager. Meg Hurahan, IFSA President. Diana Gerl, Financial Manager. And, of course, Ariane Goulet, Director of Sport.
And Mark Warner, our host here. Again, host of the Free Ride Guide. It's been such a pleasure getting to hang out and chat about free ride all day. We also want to give a huge thanks to the Kicking Horse team, especially Toby Barrett, who's done such an incredible job helping us run this event, being so accommodating. Their whole resort staff of the Resort of the Canadian Rockies, the Kicking Horse staff, and the small army of volunteers that also really make this event happen. The safety team, and especially Lift Ops, getting the athletes that early load this morning, essential to making the competition happen.
We really feel like we've been getting special treatment here at Kicking Horse. And this is stop number 2. This was stop number 2 of the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series by Orage. And this was stop number 2, the Kirkwood restage here at Kicking Horse on T1 North. Tomorrow, we're doing a quick turnaround. Tomorrow, we've got another event, the third stage, the actual Kicking Horse stage. And as we spoke, the technical director and his team are deciding on tomorrow's venue. Will it be T1 South? Will it be Ozone? We're not quite sure just yet, so you're going to have to tune in tomorrow right here on freeskier.com to find out. So on behalf of myself, Mark Warner,
Rachel Shannon,
thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you before you know it.
Solid.